the move b6. I'm
This b6, and the point being that you.
I want to stop you to play c5. I know it's not. It's not very. It's not very good because according to the bar, it jumps to white's favor. But if you play queen e3, my plan is to play knight e7, which gives knight f5 next move. This is the only.
This is a very nice idea to transfer the knight.
Yes, because I think g4 is not a move for white. I can play bishop f4 then.
Right.
Yes. And if you do not play g4, maybe knight f5 can capture your queen away. That's the idea, but I'm really not sure it's good or not here.
b6. I have to say b6
looks a little bit strange.
Exactly, that was the word I was looking for. Looks a bit strange. I'm not sure how. Maybe it does work well here in this exact situation.
Yes.
But you know, I would be afraid to make a move like b6 because then it pretty much makes me very hard for me to ever take on c4.
Yes.
And Lei Tingjie did play rook d8.
fd8. And let's don't forget it. Lei is a player who played d4 for almost all of her career. Only not this in this during this women's world champion match. So she is good at to play some d4 struggles. There are too many. D4 is far away different from e4 in the in any kind of openings. So maybe she knows here what black should do now. Actually, I have really no ideas. If I play black, I will lost my mind here in the position. Maybe I will play some really bad moves like b6 maybe.
Well, this is not an easy position. Guys, we had a technical glitch, and as you might have noticed, you probably noticed, those of you who watched who are watching our stream in the channels may have needed to reconnect. We apologize for the inconvenience, and thank you for staying with us. We really appreciate it, and share it with your friends. Help them find the new stream because really technical things happen here and there. The position remains very tense here. I have the feeling that white is building up a little bit pressure on black.
Yes.
I really liked your idea of playing queen e3, placing the queen. It does a multi-purpose jobs on e3, and what I like a lot with this move is that it solves the issue of, as you said, of the pin without weakening the king side. So I really like this.
And here I want to explain the move why Lei Tingjie played rook fd8. Maybe she wants to play bishop f8 now, and with the idea of a4 in next move.
Yes, I wanted to also mention this. This is. Please explain why it's important.
Yes. First, I want to say why should I play bishop f8 first? If you play a4 now, it's really a bad move because c5 is
hitting this bishop. The bishop.
Yes.
And we just go past this pawn, and b5 will follow.
So I need to play bishop f8 first, and for white here to play c5 is impossible. Black has some b6. We mentioned it before. So after a4 is why a4 is a good move. For example, let's say rook f1, a4, and you have to play b4 here because you take. I will take with knight with a trap on the queen, with a capture on the queen, and if you play b4, I can take on c4. This is the point, I think. Okay, and now maybe we will say that we have knight b4 some moves. Let's say just we haven't got this immediate move. I just play some moves like knight d5. I can stop. I can just stop two bishops for white. And
exactly.
Yes,
and this pawn on d4 is this is an isolated pawn.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Our center, our beautiful duo in the center is just ruined here. So this is a very strong positional threat, a4.
Yes.
Very tricky. And how can white prevent a4 from happening?
Before rook f1. Actually,
this is maybe the drawback of the queen on e3 because
yes,
it gets in the way of the black king, of the black knight. It can attack it, and c takes d5 will be met with knight takes d5 attacking the queen. So this might be a drawback of this move. I am not even sure how.
or white should.
Of course, we never want to
yes,
play a4. This should be said, because if we play a4, black will have this fantastic square for her pieces, for the knight, for the bishop, mostly the knight probably, but
yes,
the bishop can be very annoying there as well. And this is pretty much devalues our queen side majority of the pawns for white, so we really never want to do that.
And I want to say a joke here. Maybe the best move for white here is to play the pawn back to a2.
This often is the case, but it's kind of against the rules. So this is the situation so far. And look, Lei Tingjie is considering what are her options, because Ju Wenjun did not play queen e3. She played the move that she will always need to play anyway.
Yes.
Right? Rook c1
Rook
is the
c1.
move that she needs to play, and now Lei Tingjie needs to find a way whether she wants to go really back with the bishop to e7 or f8, or maybe make a more useful move not a more useful move, to bring the rook to c8. And I want to say that if we have this idea of playing a4, then we can keep the rook on the a file for some time,
yes,
right? We don't need to rush and bring it to c8. And also, I think that, oftentimes when we have two moves which are really very similar to their ideas, what we will usually want to do in a chess game is we'll try to see
which I have to do.
If one of the moves is a move I will anyway have to play, then why spend the time? I might as well just make this move and then make the decision later on when I have more information. And here it feels to me that bishop f8 is a move that we probably will make more often than rook c8.
Yes.
So, because it's hard for me to imagine that we keep the bishop on d6 in this position, even if white decides to play king in knight e5 at some point.
Yes, maybe queen e3, knight e5 is on the road.
Well, in this case, there is an argument for keeping the bishop on d6. And for instance,
yes,
let's say if we play here rook c8, queen e3,
yes,
then we might want to, let's say, play knight e7, preventing knight e5, right? So
yes.
So this is a consideration that Lei does need to take here, whether she thinks the bishop on d6 might be useful. Because maybe really she is worried about the plan, like queen e3 and knight e5.
I think so. I think queen e3 and knight e5 is not very difficult to think for black and also for white, because this position is really hard to find a plan which you cannot change. For example, I want to say I find a plan and I will never change my plan. In this position, it's impossible.
Yeah,
I think.
not here. Here you need to adapt, you need to adjust, you need to react to your opponent's play.
Yes.
Because you cannot in books we often read about especially in those books that want to make some point.
Yes.
I made this plan and I executed it for 25 moves, and there we go. On move 10 I had a plan, and move 35
I got it.
I finished my plan, and that's it. I won the game. It's very, very rarely the case, especially nowadays when everybody knows the basic ideas.
Yes.
So you will really almost never nowadays your opponent will let you execute this plan like that, unless of course there is a position where it cannot be stopped. But
Yes.
normally the players really fight against each other's plans very well nowadays. So you need to adjust accordingly. Okay, so we have in this position Lei Tingjie she decides to take on c4, and this is an interesting decision.
Yes, this is what I said maybe half an hour before. My only suggestion for black is not to take on c4.
But
so
maybe Lei thinks that her pieces are. She basically maxed out on how she can improve her pieces,
yes,
and she is ready to make sure to kind of define the pawn structure, right? So because d takes c4, it helps you define how things will look. I think that maybe she was also worried
about c5 here.
About maybe c5, maybe a move like, maybe she was not sure whether especially after rook c1, right?
Yes.
Because c5, for instance, you don't have b6, I think, anymore.
Yes,
because the c file is really dangerous. For instance, b6, I think some may move like g4, forcing you, and then knight e5,
yes.
and b takes, and then c takes b6. It's very tricky to play. So she wants to make sure c5 is not a move in this position. And Ju Wenjun looks surprised a little bit, because
yes,
the obvious move is b takes c4, but she is taking her time, right? First of all, if you're surprised, you want to make sure you don't blunder.
Yes. Sometimes if the obvious move b takes c4, maybe black has something like queen b6, which trapped your bishop,
yes.
something like this, but not in this position. And look at Ju Wenjun's face. She really feel confused after d takes c4.
She's absolutely confused. But I'm looking now at this position with kind of a fresh look. How about a move like queen e7? Oh, the computer is laughing at me. I wanted to make a point that since the rook moved to c1,
yes.
a3 is now weakened a little bit.
Yes, so
can we use it to attack it? But probably
yes,
then your move, queen e3, the queen is very well placed on e3, so it makes no sense to make such a move.
And here you need to be careful about something. Maybe bishop a3 is, but I know this is not the time. But yes, this is when Ju Wenjun played b takes c4. First, you need to calculate.
Absolutely, yes.
Something
you need to make sure that you don't
blunder
accidentally blunder your whole position in
yes.
2 moves. Here it has to be said that white is extremely solid and nothing bad happens to her if black goes crazy.
So I think b takes c4 will be played in a few moments.
Can black e5 is not a move here, right? We just take everything that goes our way and we are happy here with white, right?
Knight e5.
Knight e5 we have take and
yeah, I take on b7.
Queen takes here,
Yes.
right? So we don't even.
Yes, you can take on d2.
So we take here, we take here. We win back the
pieces,
the piece, but this one will be a queen very, very soon.
Yes, it's
There
just
is nothing you can do about it.
Yes.
So this tactics does not work for black so well. So probably it's. I really have no better idea than to go back with the bishop to
Yes.
f8.
Actually, rook fd8 is a move. Now we can make sense that rook fd8 is a move wants to play d takes c4. She wants to open the d5.
Absolutely. Now her plan does make a lot of sense, and we have to say that knight d4 is a threat now, right? Using the fact, or maybe it's not. Actually, I'm not sure.
I'm
it is.
really not sure, but you need to be careful about it now.
Why we are not sure? Because white will have an intermediate g4 move, covering up this diagonal and then
take the rook, but maybe
but
bishop
can
yes.
even, yes. So black, for instance, a move like that, black will have 3 pawns for a bishop, and a very, very weak white king. And I think I take this position with black.
And look at the white's pawn. Only 3 pawns are
Absolutely.
not
every day of the week and twice on Sunday, right? As they
yes.
say. So, and today we are on Sunday, so that's the time for sacrifices. Ju Wenjun is really taking her time on recapturing on c4.
Yes.
What is she thinking about?
I really don't think white can play. Or maybe she wants to play g4 first, but I think this is not good.
G4, I think I have at least c3.
Yeah, c3
right?
is very good. Yes. So I think if you don't play b takes c4, it's just like you played c takes d5 and knight d5.
Exactly, and I think that white pieces are not well positioned for playing with the isolated pawn.
Yes.
Because if you have an isolated pawn, you really want to make sure you are attacking something. You're attacking on the king side. You want your knight to be on c3, not on d2. There are so many misplacements in your in white's position in order to play this isolated pawn position. So I would really be surprised to see anything other than b takes c4, to be honest.
So, so maybe b takes c4. Black really has queen b6. Need to be worried about. Because
maybe you're right. Maybe she's worried about this move.
Yes, here you cannot.
For instance, if you play something like protecting the bishop,
I can play bishop g6, but I'm not sure it's good. But
well, we are threatening c5, right?
Yes, but yeah, seems like
it has to be said that this is impossible.
Yes,
right?
here
because
this is.
The knight will defend the queen back, hitting the bishop back. So it's not a possible move to make. Well, maybe not even rook c2. Maybe rook b1 is a better move. Yes.
Yes, both of the moves are good because bishop g6 seems impossible.
I also want d5 and bishop takes f6. So queen b6 looks a bit awkward. And we might see some time trouble today because Ju Wenjun has only 35 minutes left, and we are only on move 15 so far. So 25 moves to make in 35 minutes. It's not yet a big time
Yes.
pressure, but becoming interesting in this area. B takes C4 has been played after
quite a long scene.
quite a long thought. Yes,
Yes.
and this is very surprising because Ju Wenjun usually makes those very
Yes.
practical decisions. She takes the time when the time was really needed. It will be interesting to hear what was she spending her time here on on what was she thinking about. Okay, so far, and Lei Tingjie plays bishop e7, if I'm correct on the, if I spotted correctly on the video. Yes,
Yes.
indeed, bishop e7 has been played.
I think Lei Tingjie.
Why do you think she prefers bishop to e7 rather than bishop to f8?
Actually, I need to think about it, but I want to say Lei Tingjie tries to play on time, play with the time.
With the time
pressure for Ju Wenjun. Yes.
Well, I think my guess would be she wants to keep an eye on
Yes.
f6, not to play. For instance, I'm not sure it's any good, but had she played bishop f8, ideas like d5 might be very well possible, right? Because there's sacrificing a pawn, and then the position can explode in multiple ways. Just just as an example, for instance, we can start jumping. The knights become very jumpy. The queen can go. All kinds of stuff can happen in such positions, and this is. We see an extreme level of intensity in this match so far. And I would like, we use this opportunity to take an interview with Madam Dana Reizniece-Ozola. She is the deputy chair of FIDE management board. She's also a woman grandmaster. Let's take a look at her interview. It was very interesting about women in chess, about the various possibilities that nowadays chess offers for women. And let's take a look. It was very interesting.
That's a good question. Some people tend to say that, yes, because of the fact that you've got the separate women titles, women chess grandmaster, women international master, separate tournaments, we kind of show that women are less strong than men. But, the fact is that only 2% of the title players are women, only 10% of the rated players are women. So we actually want to encourage more women to come in for chess and stay there and excel there. And separate titles were invented in 1970s with the same goal, actually, to open the doors for the women players, to encourage them. So at this point, I still am in favor of having separate titles and the competitions, because the goal has not yet been reached. There's still this huge gap between women and men. That's one reason. The second one, I still see that because of the fact that the chess world has been so strongly male-dominated, starting from the management to the sportive area of men being just dominant there, number-wise, and also title-wise. It still takes some time and effort from us, the policymakers, to make the place welcoming, the chess world welcoming and secure for women. So that's why we also work now on the safeguarding policies, so that every girl that is here, starting from the chess club to chess competitions to top level events, and also the management world, would feel welcome safeguarded, respected, and feel happy being part of the chess world. Yes, what we also see is that that many girls, they start playing chess, they compete, they like the world, but then there is some point when they quit. Yes, and this is also something that we've been thinking of, how to really keep them there. One is to safeguard them. The second one, I think, is to show that for you to stay in the chess world, you're not obliged to be the professional chess player only. There's so many other professions that are welcoming women. You know, being a chess trainer, being a chess arbiter, being a fair play officer, the top profession in the future, I would say, in the chess world. Being a commentator, a chess photographer, or so many other positions out there that need more women, and that have not been appreciated enough as the future careers. So this is what we, together with the Women's Commission, are now trying to do as well. We are making a tour worldwide, facilitating the girls coming into chess, raising the awareness that that chess is actually the game for girls, the game for women, but also popularizing the chess market as the future career place, which I think is very important, and it brings the results. You know, those are so heartwarming stories when we hear that after our inspirational lectures, where we share our own experience and stories, where we try to engage the local personalities, the grandmasters or chess celebrities, if I may say so, that women who've quit chess a while ago, they come back, not obligatory as active players, but as the chess organizers. They raise their hand and volunteer to the federations, to the chess clubs, suggesting their help in organizing the events or opening even the chess clubs. So there are concrete examples that we see. Yeah, it works, you know, because they just got this idea presented by somebody. Why not? Yes. So that's heartwarming. Yes. Thing. My goal is that, and one day I'm pretty sure that it will happen, that we will see a woman playing for the World Chess Champions title, not the women's title, but for the universal one. That needs a lot of effort, not only from FIDE, but at every level, showing that chess is the sport for women, keeping them in the field. And that is why actually I am such a fan of educational chess, because I think that's the most efficient way to the hearts of the kids and their parents, because quite often it is the parents and the families who think that chess is not a game for the girl. Yes, so coming from a Western culture, it's quite difficult for us to imagine that. Yes, it's more like the fact that sometimes when you go to a chess club, you might be the only girl there, and probably then you don't feel like it's your place. Yes, but in many countries, it's just that you would probably hardly be given a chance to actually go to the chess club and to explore. So, but if we suggest this game in the school, yes, so both the kids and their parents, not talking about the teachers as well, yes, would see that chess is such an inspiring, such an exciting, such a dynamic, such a cool game that develops the important skills of a young personality that can be used not only on the chessboard but also in the real life, like the complex problem solving, like concentration, like the fair play, like respecting your opponent, like understanding the cause and the consequence. Yeah, I could list many of those that I've used in my real life, you know, taking out from my pocket one or the other when it's needed. People need to have role models. So I think you know, that's also one of my missions in the life, as I feel that I need to also show and encourage other women with my own experience. For example, when I was the Minister of Finance of my country, I was in the whole history of my country only the second one holding this position, because there was the stigma that women are probably more appropriate for educational, for culture, for health, and these kind of areas. But in politics, people were somehow, reluctant to entrust women with the position of the Minister of Defense or Minister of Finance or Economic Affairs or Energy. Yes. So, but when there is this example that shows that yes, I mean, she is a minister and quite a good one, so the others also start believing that that's a norm. Yes, and also the girls and the women, they believe that yes, that's an option for me as well. Why not? So in chess as well, I mean, the more we will have the examples, the girls could follow, the bit better the chances that the others would really consider that yes, why not? That's the best profession or the career that they can have. Yes, this is why one of the goals of FIDE is also to double the number of kids engaged in the educational chess. So. In 2021, we made a worldwide survey, and the estimate is that more than 25 million kids are engaged in educational chess worldwide. So in a few years' time, we want to double this number, which is realistic. Let alone China, you would see that the educational chess is boosting. India, yes, they are now thinking more of not only putting the emphasis on the sportive chess being taught as the discipline at school, but using chess also as a tool for transversal education, yes, for teaching other subjects at school. Other countries in Africa, for example, now our educational commission is on the mission there in several countries, training the teachers, showing the methodology, giving the tools for the teachers so that they can use this game for teaching mathematics, language, other subjects. The beauty of the chess is that it's a complex game that can be also deconstructed. You don't have to use the game in its full set of the victory. You can use the elements of it for various goals.
And we have a very special guest here, Madam Dana Reizniece-Ozola. She is here with us again. Dana, but not as a FIDE official this time, as a woman grandmaster. Dana, last time you were here,
we had a decisive game, yes?
Yes, so maybe we can keep this tradition going today.
No, why not? Actually, we've entered, I think, the most dynamic stage of the whole match, right? Lei has an advantage of one victory that she got in Shanghai. Now we are here in Chongqing. Yesterday, the game, even though it was full of the opportunities for Ju Wenjun, I think neither of the players actually were feeling the same and understood what the judgment of the computer is. Yes, so
absolutely.
So it finished in draw, and today we see that Ju Wenjun is completely trying to change the tactics and trying to get probably some break in the flow of the match. Yes,
that was our feeling exactly. That
when I saw the choice of the opening, it was a little bit strange because she's playing white and starting, with some more passive opening. Yes, so probably, trying to take the opponent with a class. Yes,
that was almost our phrasing exactly.
Really?
Yes, and.
Because we already had the judgment, okay? Of course, it's not probably 100% ideal, but the judgment that she's probably a more positional player compared to Lei, who likes the dynamics. The bigger the mess on the board, the better she feels compared to Ju Wenjun, and this might be her chance or her try to get the opponent in the woods. She feels better,
exactly.
Right?
Just a little bit off balance of theory. But then again, Lei Tingjie played very fast in the opening, and as you can see, even having this to handle this surprise, she managed to get out of the opening quite well. Although we have the feeling, but it's more interesting to hear. The viewers heard what we had to say. Now it's interesting to see to hear what are your impressions of the position.
Of the position. So it's very dynamic again. Yes, both players have their chances because white players controlling the center with c4 and d4 pawns. At the same time, they are the hanging pawns, so which means that they are also the object for the black's attack, right? So. I'd say that we'll still have a lot of fight ahead.
I think this is kind of a game like the way I see it, you know, who wins first, right? If black manages to get white, as we have discussed already on the stream, if black manages to force white to move one of the pawns, they lose the flex, especially the c pawn, right? If we manage white to play c5, for instance, then the pawns lose the flexibility and we start going around them. However, if white breaks through with d5, then there's fire on board.
Yes,
right? And,
yes.
And those bishops are beautifully placed for this kind of breaks.
The pawn on d4, the white pawn on d4, of course, provides the nice foreposts for the knight on e5. But the question is, of course, if I'm in good timing to get there, because d4 is still hanging. That's the typical dynamics of these kind of positions. So the one who holds the center also has a potentially better chance to break through and has the foreposts, but at the same time they need to be careful that they do not lose one or the other of the pawns.
Absolutely, and you know, we were discussing back quite a few moves back here when white played a3 here. Lei Tingjie played a5. And we were discussing.
What about b5? The first idea that comes to my mind, knight d1, c3, b5.
Exactly. So, and we
although there is a rule that never step back. Yes.
Exactly. we remember this many games of one named Magnus Carlsen who likes these maneuvers. And another point that we discussed is that later on in the game, when the pawns are exchanged on c4, this pawn on a5 will prevent black from playing knight a5 at some point, and this is exactly what's happening. And Ju Wenjun, it's not happening by mistake, by chance, right? White used the fact that the pawn is on a5 to place her queen on b3, because with the pawn on a6 it would be impossible, because knight a5 would be very strong, hitting the pawn and the queen.
Would you actually consider also at this position for white to try to get to b5, or it's not possible?
Actually, it might be interesting, but let's see. First of all, I'm struggling to find a good move for black. This position, I have to be honest.
So the black pieces are now placed optimally
to offer a move for black.
Sickle, I don't know, rook d7 and trying to double the rooks on d file also doesn't make much sense, because you would not be taking on d4 anyhow, right?
Right, and you're kind of entering into
some tactical
and for instance, as we can see, the bar jumped after a move, an innocent looking move like rook d7. What could be the reason for that? Is it d5 by any chance?
Immediately
start
and then take and on f6 at some point, yes, and you're losing already something if you take it. If you take, actually ed might be e takes d5 might be
it might be already a mistake, right?
Mistake, but then what to do? Yes.
What to do?
Knight d8, super passive.
Yeah, but then you kind of get the feeling that.
So you gave the answer. you posed the question and also gave the answer why the rook d7 is not the optimum. But what's the plan? Yes. So
it looks like black's pieces are well positioned for this kind of.
So what was the last move now?
Queen b3 was the last move. Bishop g6,
Bishop
queen
g6.
d3, queen b3. Maybe.
But it's the white's move now.
No, queen b3 was the last.
Queen something has happened. The time is running for Ju Wenjun.
Queen b8.
Yes.
I wanted to suggest Queen b8, but now I will not look come out too well if I suggest. So Queen b8 does make a lot of sense, right? To
get away from the Röntgen, so
exactly.
X-ray.
This X-ray is extremely unpleasant, and now we might actually, if we manage just as an idea, if we manage to play b5 and somehow force white to either take or play c5, I think we will be more than happy, right?
I'd be considering now knight f1, knight e3, such a maneuver. We're trying to still prepare d5.
Claiming that the knight on e3 is much better placed than on
because
d2,
it supports
right?
the advancement of the d pawn to d5.
Okay, let's consider, for instance,
you need to have some plan, yes. So if I'm consistent, then d5 is still my idea, yes. So with the white pieces.
Can we somehow put pressure
on d4?
On d4?
Try.
I sure will. No. Look.
What's wrong?
Look.
What's wrong?
Ju Wenjun
c5.
Played c5.
c5. The first impression is a little bit suspicious because
I'm
it gives
surprised.
the d5 away, right?
Yes. But her understanding of chess is better than mine, so I trust her. She obviously
she
wants
didn't take
to make
much time to make the
so
move.
she wants to make room for her knight.
But she gives the room for mine as well.
For mine, and I will take it anytime. I think we
actually immediately, right?
Immediately, yes. And then now suddenly I have room for my bishop on f6.
And yeah.
Although still okay, bishop f6 maybe not so fast, right? Knight goes to d6.
Now I'm kind of controlling e5, yes, with white pieces. I want to go invade knight e5. Might be coming, yes. The next move.
This is very interesting. This is, c5 is not a move I would consider seriously as black, for at least. And we can see at the Lei's expression.
She doesn't like something, yes.
She looks surprised, I think.
Yeah, I would be also surprised because normally you are not trying to weaken your squares in the center, yes.
Yeah, normally
you would try to make the breakthrough with d5.
I would feel that I have to work hard with black to force you to play c5, right?
Yeah, that's what you mentioned before. Yes, but chess is a concrete game, yes. So
yes, exactly. And let's try and understand what's going on here. So knight d5 looks very natural,
knight c4.
Right? Knight c4, and now basically you're saying, what's your next move?
So do you want knight e5, yes?
Knight e5 is a thing.
I don't know, very strange, but queen a7. Because I want to get some more space. I want to go a4 and I don't know, potentially knight a5. Although it's difficult to brace.
Yourself, yes. Okay, knight e5.
a4.
a4.
But you come to b5. I didn't get you far away, yes.
Yes. And knight b6 may be coming, yes. So all kinds of things start happening.
Too slow.
Okay, we need to solve some. How about b5 here?
b5 and first I take to b6.
You take, okay. Then if
no, you cannot do that.
Sorry.
You cannot do that. Not yet.
Okay, then
probably it's still
my whole plan is kind
probably it's still your little bite in the future, yes, on b6, but not immediately.
Okay. Then I have to probably play a4, but you don't even take. Yeah, you go to b5.
I don't take it. Yes.
No. b5 is a bit premature. And bishop f6, as you said, knight d6.
Knight d6 is probably coming, yes.
Chess is a concrete game, you see. How do we manage to
flex it back, yes. I guess now it feels that suddenly black doesn't have too much air to breathe, yeah.
And maybe, okay, maybe, you know, maybe we go queen a6 here, preventing this, or this is...
So still with an idea.
With the same idea, yes.
a4. But what if I take on d5? I'm a material girl.
And you just,
of course.
Have this, my rooks are very poorly placed here.
So suddenly, after knight e5, my bishop also starts playing the white square bishop, and you know I would never like to give it away, just exchanging against the knight. But if I can capture some more material afterwards, why not?
So maybe knight e5 is a bit superficial. Oh, here's an idea.
Yes.
So let's say we just played this first. The point was
knight c4.
Knight c4. I wanted to play bishop e4 here.
And bishop d5.
Having yes.
And knight b6.
But still knight b6. I'm starting to suffocate a little bit. Yes.
It looks ugly, no?
it does.
It looks ugly.
Absolutely.
But now you want to you threaten to take on d4, yes? So I need to react somehow.
Oh right, this is a threat now. Thank you for telling me what was my threat.
Rook d1.
There might be
rook d1, rook c d1. No, the other one, I guess. No.
The other one.
I think so.
And if I go here, you...
I run away. Garde.
Ignore where?
C2, yes.
I have no say. Here, this
but then
okay,
not yet, but it might be tricky, I agree.
Anyway, Lei Tingjie played knight d5, and knight c4 is on the board, and she is kind of in the same situation we were 5 minutes ago, desperately trying to find a move here for black.
Not easy. So, have you got a plan, Mr. Fix? Mr. Alik?
Absolutely.
Madam Lei, have you got a plan? That would be the question,
well,
right?
Yeah, that's the right question, yeah. Luckily for me, I don't have to come up with a plan here. You know, it's interesting, the computer, our third co-commentator, suggesting this move.
I was just trying to suggest that, but I was not sure if it helps, because it's just, giving material away.
Right? But
and
this is
and
kind of forcing massive exchanges. And now we start to get out with our pieces. And, Lei Tingjie so far, she has sacrificed a pawn for so many occasions.
She is not afraid doing so, that's true. Now, what is the idea? You threaten to take my bishop on b2, and if I move it away to c3, for example, then there's even rook a8, and
exactly.
I believe you can take the pawn back, and then suddenly the d pawn on d4 pawn becomes weakness, yes, and there's some initiative for
with
black.
all this beautiful pressure you had just 3 moves ago, right?
Yeah,
all of a sudden you have to defend for the rest of the game. Very interesting, and very much in Lei's style, I think, to find something like that.
Out of lacking other alternatives, right?
Right, and it actually helps here that you don't have other moves. But what about? There is really no good way to defend this bishop, right?
Yeah, rook e2, but seems to be
rook
e2. A little bit suspicious. Bishop d3. Even.
Aren't they kind of tactics like that with the back rank?
For now, I just take on d4 with a knight.
Take back. Is it possible? Oh, there is. Maybe I'm not afraid, but I can even take like that.
Yeah,
I think.
that's it.
This is.
A total
Well, I'm not afraid here.
balance and
I'm
even
afraid
better.
of no one here.
Black is okay.
Black is okay. As the famous book says. So this might be. Is it forced?
No, it's
This
forced,
is forced,
of course,
right?
yes.
And now we also have to take on b6, right? Because then knight c4, we don't have a good place for the queen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's
So it's
quite
kind of all forced.
forced.
Wow, this would be, unless we can skip taking on a4. Maybe we can play queen b5.
Queen b5?
Is
That's
it-
an option.
Is it a move? You see, you just came. There's fire on the board.
I come from Riga. Oh,
Right,
with challenge hero, we always bring some fire on the board.
Always
Yes.
do. So maybe queen b5.
That's that keeps the tension and you know, still a challenge or a task for black to find some
Still
plan.
need
Yes.
to find a move, right?
Yeah,
Ah, but you know what? Now, maybe.
Now what?
Maybe we can use the spin
With some tactical options or opportunities. Yeah.
to. But queen a4 needs to be considered again, right? I don't know what changed so much here.
Then you have to. Yeah. Also
It's a difficult position.
It's
right?
very,
Like-
very interesting, actually. Yes. After queen a4, probably even bishop takes c4 and e5. It's totally crazy, but
And she played it.
a4.
She played
Wow.
a4. And,
Madame Lei,
and quickly, very quickly.
she justifies her, you know,
Absolutely amazing.
image as being
Yeah.
a dynamic player. You know, ready to
Absolutely.
sacrifice for the
And I think
positional advantage.
This is the 8th game of the match. In at least 6 of them, she sacrificed the pawn.
She's getting, yeah, running, giving it away like a change. Yes, a small
Yes,
change.
yeah, take a pawn. You need a pawn, take a pawn. I'm very impressed. So I think this should
No,
be
I'm also
probably-
impressed because when you are sitting here in the commentators' room, I mean, it's not our game. It's easy to throw out these.
Right, it's not our pieces, right?
Yes, it's not our game.
Very
It's not
easy.
our pieces, and it's easy to give them away. But when you are there, and every move actually means that you actually risk the world champion's crown and title. Yes,
kind of an important tournament, right?
it's much more difficult. The decision-making process is
Absolutely, which makes it
challenging. Yes.
so impressive.
So, what's your bet? Would Ju Wenjun take on a4?
I don't think so. I think she will go queen b5 because she wouldn't know. And
Queen
look
b5,
at-
but still bishop d3.
and
as you
maybe
said.
rook d1 somehow. Start forcing the bishop.
But then I'd take on c4 and b5, b6.
No, I wanted actually I wanted
Yeah?
to play with this rook if I can. Can I?
and if
And
I
take with the rook. So my
and now
idea was-
don't I have something like e5 again giving away? I don't
So you want to
know.
give
Probably
a
too
pawn
much.
anyway,
Probably
right?
too much. Yes.
probably can just take it.
Or actually not e5. That's too dynamic. b6.
b6.
Because your
Aren't
bishop in b7 is also a little bit, I don't know, under the pressure.
And cb6 you want to take with the
With the-
queen, yes? Because the knight,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure
yeah.
you can.
Well, yeah. The queen takes on b6.
Queen takes on b6. Let's see how this goes.
So queen a4, queen b2. Yes.
Yeah. let's start with the easy
so this
easy
is
variations.
nothing. You cannot.
And if we take on b6, then
I take
this,
with the knight, and I think
protects
black is
c4,
okay
black
again.
is fine,
Totally
more than
fine. I'd be choosing now to play
Yeah,
black.
definitely. Okay, so and if we don't take a move like knight e5, does it even come to mind? You can always just take.
Very slow. Very slow.
I
don't know what. I want to take something, but
it feels too dangerous. All kinds of. You can just take and maybe take on c5, right? Or something like. Along with
I've managed to crash your center, so I should be fine.
That's not your dream position for
No,
white.
not for sure not. Then
Okay,
it was
so
not worth moving c5. Yes, so.
Queen d5 is a problem. What do you think about the time situation? Both players, Lei Tingjie has only 23 minutes on the clock, and Ju Wenjun has half an hour left.
But I guess that now she'll take some time.
And 20
in
more moves
equalize.
to make, almost 20 more moves
There,
to
there
make.
will be some tension time-wise again. But this is the momentum, yes. You cannot rush the things at this very position. It's very responsible now for white. Do you take the pawn? Do you avoid it? Yes, you need to.
Maybe a move like queen d1 even.
Sounds very passive.
And again,
under the X-ray of the rook, wouldn't.
Okay, let's revisit the most forcing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
So
the first thing people do. Yeah.
So we take everything.
Now, bishop b2 is hanging. I need to react.
And we don't have, it has to be said, right? This bishop is extremely powerful now.
Yeah. A sniper sitting behind.
Maybe
and
we can hit this knight. But how?
Knight h4 wouldn't.
Yeah, but then bishop h4,
Yes.
right? So that was my first reaction, but this is quite annoying.
It is. Don't like it.
And we can always just take and
because
take
if I take on
d4,
c6,
right?
then you take on b2, and doesn't work.
Let's just show it for the viewers, right? So we can take here. You somehow doesn't really matter how you take. You take here, and it's only black.
A disaster.
Who can,
A disaster
who
for
can
white.
play for a win. So we don't have a good square for the bishop, for the knight.
Knight e5 is no good.
Can we maybe play such a move?
Kamikaze.
Yeah, well, I have this extra pawn to spare. Why not?
If I just take, e takes d5.
He takes, I was considering something like,
On c6?
well, on c6 I wasn't sure. Oh, yeah, it works.
I think so,
it
because
works because the
bishop
rook
e7
will be hanging, right?
And you cannot take on b2
Yes.
because your rook is hanging.
Okay, so
Okay,
this starts
then it
working.
works.
That's good.
So you can take, he takes d5.
It's probably better.
You take it.
Then rook
And
c6
rook
is
c6, yes.
just. So if we don't take,
And
if
I
we
take on
a
b2,
rook,
but okay, on b2.
on b2, well,
a3
with the queen, yes.
with the queen, yes.
Well, this is scary.
Is the pawn on c6 a strength or a weakness? Is it the
It
winning
depends. As so,
the
so many things
scissor
in life.
soldier?
There's so many things in life. It depends.
So take and knight. I don't know.
Take. It's a problem because
So what
what
to
do I
do?
do with the rook?
No good square, right?
Yeah, those bishops are killers.
Bishops are really
So,
nice.
and if not take,
Okay, still I could. I mean, after bishop a3, I could go rook d1, using the.
oh, but I can still take. No?
Can you
Well, not
First on
like
d1.
that. Take here.
check?
Check
Bishop
F8,
knight e5.
Knight e5. Rook d6. Oh, knight.
Knight d7, lost on you. No, it's.
Is it?
Isn't it not? How do you defend the?
Is this
Okay,
winning for one?
but not
But
lost.
Not
lost.
lost for sure. Not lost for sure.
Lost
Okay,
for
so
sure.
this is, and it's kind of forced, right? Because if I check, I don't
walk
have
away?
a good way to
No.
to unpin, right?
No.
This is just bad news. Yeah. So this long forced line.
So I believe this is
This is-
exactly what Ju Wenjun is now trying to
Yes.
calculate and estimate what is there at the end of the road, right?
It's very hard to figure it all out, though, because there are so many. First of all, you have to find d5. It's not obvious.
You would consider that because there's no good spot or way for the bishop to hide, the black squared bishop of white. Yeah.
And another question I have: what happens if I just take? Well, the bar kind of answered it already, but how does this happen? I'm sensing some disaster along the
But
c-file.
where is it? Yes.
Maybe just 95.
I was considering bishop d4 first. Not good. Not good.
Not as good. No, but what about a move like that? Also not good.
What happens?
Well, my point was that if you take, then there is really no defense against 97.
Yeah.
And how do you go about defending
Rook a5.
I think I can take on c6 even.
And
I collect
Yeah,
everything.
too many.
Kind of, yeah.
pieces to be given
Just
away
collect
against
everything,
one lady, queen.
That's not easy to play here.
Rook d2. Again,
Rook d2.
but knight c6, no?
There is mate.
Oh yes, I didn't see how strong my move was. Rook
This
d2 is probably the
beautiful.
answer, yes.
Yeah. But here's so we just prevent the rook from going to d2.
Smart
Victory.
people.com. Yeah.
Okay, so d5 is
It's a resource, right?
Is a resource, but Ju Wenjun played bishop a1, a move we haven't really considered for long, and it makes more sense than the bishop c4 that we consider, right? Because that allowed rook e8 right away. Now
Yeah.
rook e8 is impossible because the knight is
Yes.
hanging. So black, but this is a very
But she
familiar.
did the move quite quickly,
Quite
right?
quickly. Well,
So was she considering d5 or not?
They have only 25 minutes. They need to play fast. I'm not sure she considered d5.
d5 was worth considering, actually. No, I would take some time. Would have taken some time to think of it. Okay, but she wants to play solid chess.
Solid
Starting
chess.
from the very first move, she has demonstrated that she wants to play solid chess in this game. Yes.
Yes, and d5 goes kind of against it, and especially given that we are approaching time pressure. 15 moves in 25 minutes here, it's not easy.
So still rook a8.
No, now you cannot play rook a8 because the knight is hanging, right? With the bishop on c3, we had this,
Yeah, now
but
it's
now
not.
we cannot play that. But can we take on d4 again, or now it's no?
bishop
now we can't
d4,
take
you
because
cannot.
There's too many hits already. Maybe bishop f6.
Bishop f6 and knight e5.
Yeah, and everything. knight e5, and you still have. I still cannot take, right?
You cannot take it now. No. I still
Forget
have
about it. You cannot take.
I'm trying to hit your fingers when you wish to take it. Yes. So, it's just that I'm still keeping.
But what if
the
I
pawn.
take here? You just
I take and attack your
take,
knight.
and the bishop is protecting everything, so there's no.
It doesn't
issues
mean
here.
that I can keep the pawn for long, but it gives me some time, no?
It gives you, yes. Yeah. No, I want to. You know, I have a very. I think I have a very strong move there.
Which one?
You see this queen? It's very
Yep.
important. It's holding your whole position together.
All right.
It's, you know, like in Volga, in those Benko, once the queens are exchanged, all of a sudden you cannot keep all your pieces anymore together.
Mm. So let me think. So probably
Take an a4. But then knight b3.
knight b3 is coming. That's something that I don't like. Yes. Or I don't know. Too slow, right? I was thinking of taking, then. No.
Take and d5.
Take and d5, yes, but I'm not sure.
But it looks
Because
very drawish, yeah? So
Knight
take-
b3, or I take on. I even take on
we can
a3,
even take
yes.
Here, yes, and then this. You cannot.
It's in
Even
one
if you
flank.
take,
It's difficult to.
Yeah, so even those 3 on 2, and especially that we exchange the rooks, nobody really
Shouldn't
has-
be winning
yeah.
at all, yes.
So this might be one possible
Mhm.
end for this game. What else can black? But actually, Queen a5 is not a move that is easy to spot, right?
It's not that difficult.
It makes a
not
lot
that
of sense
difficult.
once you find it, of course.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure Lei Tingjie will find it, by the way.
Yes, I do agree with
She-
you.
What else? Do we have another option?
So what is now the position on the board?
That's the position
That's
on
the
the board,
position.
yeah.
So that's her move. Queen a5, yes, a natural move.
Maybe another move. I was going to say knight a5, but knight a5 is problematic. You can take and queen d7, and I'm not liking this at all.
Hmm. Bishop f6.
Yeah, and but now we have to
Knight e5,
find something
yes.
against
Knight e5.
this, right? Not so simple. And Lei Tingjie has only 18 minutes. Well, it's not real time pressure, but it starts, you know, somebody told me once that, you know, whenever I get down below 20 minutes and I start seeing the seconds moving,
And you
I
get nervous, yes?
Yeah.
You get nervous. And then your eyes tend to watch or look at more at the clock than at the position. Yes?
and exactly. and you
your
lose
brain
this-
gets distracted. Yes.
Well, to me it happens a lot. Maybe not at 20 minutes, but after below 10, it's already starts like
Getting nervous.
in-
And here, then I don't know, knight a5. No, on d7.
97, yeah?
Yes, I think so. Mhm.
Yeah, hitting everything
Mhm.
here. So we probably need to somehow take here.
Try. I take. And bishop.
Now attack.
I cannot play f4. This is a good moment.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the main idea of all of this. But
or actually
maybe first
think.
take?
I don't know whether it works, but what if rook c1, Rook c1, rook d2.
Rook d2 is a problem. I wanted to say
late.
that there is a
Because yeah.
because otherwise it's
You're
it's
first.
very strong.
You're first.
But we just maybe we need to play h5. Do we have time for it at some point?
Now h5.
I don't even believe it myself, you know. But maybe it's a move. Well, the point actually is that knight e5 is impossible.
D5?
Right? Because
That's
this is extremely strong.
That's strong. But after h5, why not to consider d5?
D5 with the same ideas, right?
Opening my black squared bishop.
And if rook takes, am I blundering? We have been
yes,
here,
we've
right?
been here, yes.
94
Yes.
is bad news for black, very bad news. And if e takes, then you just take on c6, am I right?
I think so, yes. Because I'll return.
Look at the live game.
So queen a5,
Queen
yes?
a5 has
So
been played.
over these 7 days, you've learned to play the ladies' chess and Lei's chess and Ju Wenjun's chess, yes? So you can guess their moves.
I'm getting better. As you can see, I'm getting better. I'm slowly getting there, not yet, but...
So you start thinking like them, yes? Think like a champion.
Exactly.
Or think like a challenger.
Like a challenger. Who knows? Very impressed, really. Mostly with myself.
Me too,
But,
I must admit. But
and
this is again, you know, heading to a drawish
exactly
ending, yes? But if I don't take on e6, can I?
No, but
no,
actually,
I cannot.
The position here, Lei Tingjie is thinking still, and she look at her expressions. It says it all. I think she's very comfortable. She knows it's a draw after bishop a3.
Yeah,
Even
I don't
though-
have any tricks, yes, how I could safeguard my passing pawn. I cannot go e6, right? There's nothing that I can do.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. But black hasn't taken on a3 yet. What is she thinking about?
I'm thinking. What are you thinking about?
This commercial, yeah, have you seen this commercial for languages?
Dung, 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 dung,
Yeah,
dung,
queen
dung, dung, dung.
bishop a3 really looks like the move.
Probably bishop, knight b3, but too artificial, right?
Yeah, it feels like you are not really making a real attempt.
And you
to
are
play for
improving
a
my
win.
position. Bishop b2 is better than standing better than on a1, right?
Yeah, you could make an argument for rook c2 and
But,
where does the bishop go, right?
e6? No, e6 is not a move. Is it?
To take?
No, d6. Sorry,
D6.
d6 and then
And rook d1?
rook
or what?
d1. Yes, but okay, that's the fantasies.
Yeah.
That's the fantasies.
Somehow. I think we'll somehow manage to.
Yeah, no. It's interesting. What is she thinking about? Yes. Why doesn't she just take on a3? Probably because since a while she hasn't got this good position, right?
But yeah,
Now she's already getting the taste and trying to find the ways how to.
and you know, seeing this, well, first of all, a4, having seen this a4, b5 idea, then we might reconsider the strengths
C5,
of
yes.
c5 again, right?
Yes.
So
Then probably still knight f1, sitting on my hands, not
So,
moving the center,
knight-
not
yeah,
destroying,
so
not giving the squares away. Yes.
knight f1 would probably, knowing the result of c5 is probably the better way to
So
go.
it's so easy to judge after the game. Yes. But
Hindsight 2020 always, of course.
But for sure, I mean, c5 would not be my first choice in this position anyhow.
But we have felt it with black, right? Without
Yeah.
a4, it's not the most obvious move to play A4, B5.
No,
It's
not at all.
So, chapeau for Lei Tingjie for finding this fantastic sequence, and we are. She still hasn't taken the pawn on A3.
What's the idea?
I'm wondering.
What is the idea?
I cannot imagine Black trying to play for a win here. Maybe she wants to make. She wants to find an even more convincing draw. Maybe she doesn't want to play this game.
But what is a more convincing draw? I mean, what is the alternative at this point?
Maybe she wants to keep the
You
pawn.
cannot take e takes d5 because I take the bishop, and if you are planning to check me on c1, I just come back on e1 with the rook. Yes,
This
so.
is important to show
Yeah.
because this is very relevant. This is the point. The rook comes back and defends the bishop.
So
which
there's
is
no
nice.
way to take on d5, right?
Not that I see. As knight b3, as you said, bishop
Just
b2
improves the
even.
position of my bishop. Yeah.
Or even if not, then we can just take, right? And it's kind of the same. So
So what does confuse her? Why doesn't she just take on a3?
our silicon friend basically says they are both equal. You can go either knight b3 or bishop a3. I don't care. but the computer in such positions it would give 0,
Cold-hearted.
0, 0
Cold-hearted.
for almost any move here, basically. I still think she will take on a3. And of course she plays knight b3. You see? I still have a lot
Knight
to
b3.
learn. So maybe by move.
So I
by
can also
game
guess
flow.
something. Knight b3.
Knight b3. Okay.
So she's fighting for the initiative.
She's, maybe she wants to have a pair of bishops to make sure. Ju Wenjun took on e6, I believe. Yes. Yes, she took, and she took quite fast.
Now what?
This is a good question. So do we take on e6?
Or
But I want to have this pawn destroyed. I really would
because
not feel
e-
comfortable
but-
to leave this pawn on the board.
okay, bishop a3, e7 doesn't work, right?
e7, we just go here, right?
And capture.
Or we just can capture.
Yes, because
Maybe we
rook e8 probably, rook e3 would be a move. Rook
Ah.
e8, rook e3.
Ah, yes. And all of a
Voila.
sudden, and
Voila.
we are left with the pawn on e7,
Yeah.
right? Because we have to take, and the rook takes and goes to a7. Not a good pawn to keep alive. So we will need to take, but now there is a bishop takes g7. Keeping the extra pawn.
And
For a
then
while,
with the
right?
rooks on the board, there's still some
I'm
chance,
not
right?
Exactly. I'm not exactly happy to play this. I would still have to, but again, if we are getting 2 against 3, I would rather have the pawns connected.
Connected, right?
So I'm not sure what is Lei's plan. And again, she played knight b3, but now she's thinking again. Maybe she miscalculated a little bit.
I'm just wondering, yeah, why did she not
And if we
chose
just
the
take here,
simple way?
then this pawn is alive, right? And
Can I save it still?
you can
A4?
try, no? The computer says not. Because of this, probably. Yes, I don't have a good square for the rook.
But tell me, if instead of a4, I would just go away with my bishop with an idea to, I don't know where, bishop e5.
Here it
yeah?
looks good, yeah? And
With
if
the
it's
same
take-
idea, the rook e3.
Ah. So, with equal material, still somewhat worse here, yes? It's actually a big advantage. The computer says it's like a very big advantage for white. But how, why is it so big? I'm struggling to understand, I have to say.
Knight G5. And then probably bishop C5, nothing else. Or C1. You are.
That's not me. That was the computer.
You are too tricky.
But apparently, look at this. It plays a knight E1. Very.
Okay, all right. Good one.
And now it goes here. And the point being, I think, that if you try to keep it, I will go from
check me and then D7 or what?
Go here, or not even this. What is it doing then? Knight D3.
Wow, what a game!
Crazy,
what a
crazy
game!
lines, and now only now it goes here. Because for some reason it was important to include knight d3.
And because you have also bishop coming on e4 with a check if necessary, right?
If we go
after
here,
king
then this goes here, and if you go here, then okay, then I start collecting. Not like that,
Not like that.
Wow.
Bishop C.
Yeah, bishop c2 was a threat, right?
But now, what is my move? Because bishop c6 doesn't work. Bishop f3 check would be there.
Look at this. This is beautiful. This is black winning all of a sudden.
Rook h1 mate.
This is
so we were already signing the papers, yes?
Exactly. And all of a sudden, look
all
at
of a sudden,
no,
you see
but this is, you know, the effect of having you in the broadcast. It cannot be an easy draw.
So what is happening? What do ladies do?
The current position is, as you said, bishop e5, and
so we are here.
Yeah, according to the computer, now white has a serious advantage again. Well, not again, first time in the game, basically. So knight b3 was a misstep, or more
in precision, yes.
Yeah, more correctly. So here black should have taken on a3, and this would have led to a drawish position
yes.
Again. But after f takes e6, bishop e5, it's no longer easy.
Yeah, now I really want to go a4, and if my passing pawn survives, then.
But I wanted to ask you, what happens if I just go here?
Let me think. So, you're brave enough to put it under the.
No.
At the target of my white square.
On the
bishop,
contrary,
yes.
I'm too scared of this pawn, so I am ready to do
anything I ask you to get rid of it. Yes. Isn't it, I don't know, no, I don't know. I was thinking of...
Somehow, even if you take back this pawn, with this weakness and having the rooks on the board, I feel that...
No, I mean, immediately probably knight d4 and...
knight d4...
I take and...
We'll first take here, I don't help you, right?
And knight e6?
I would
no,
love
and
to
I would take on g7 if you don't protect it.
Okay, I have to play something like that. But yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I have
Bishop
a choice:
d5, right?
bishop d6 or taking on f6 and.
Really don't see why.
Taking on f6 even, a knight.
Why lay
f4?
Complicated.
Or knight d5.
The matters for herself. It's almost like she said, okay, it would be too easy.
Yes, too boring to finish the game. We need some show for the spectators worldwide.
And Dana, she's down to 7 minutes. For
10 more moves
10 more
to be
moves.
made, yes?
Not so
Now it's
easy.
not such an easy position, yes, that you can make the moves automatically.
Because as we have seen, there are many, you know, underwater difficulties, right?
So white is still pawn up, and there's a weakness on e6 for the in the black's position. So it's quite comfortable for white, but not that easy for black, right?
Not an easy task at all. 6.5 minutes, approaching 6.5 minutes to the time control. Wow.
So we analyzed, yeah, she took an a3. I'd now follow up with the rook e3.
Rook e3 looks very natural.
So that
to
was
me,
my
right?
idea.
Yes. And how
Not
do we
to-
keep the pieces? Wow.
So
Can we
bishop
check
c2.
maybe first?
Okay. You saw the check and you checked, yes? King h2.
That's what I do. That's what I normally do. And maybe.
Does it
defend
make
from
your
there?
position any better?
No, but I just. My task was much simpler, you know, just not blunder the
Rook
knight.
knight d2 or knight d4?
No, but this I think.
I take on a3.
Is there a mate coming? or something?
No, check on g7. a8 and then on g7. I mean, that was.
And you will have
that's the
g4.
trick.
That's the point. Yeah, you want
Yeah.
to have check, check, and g4. Let's
Yeah.
show it.
Or
right?
first g4 and then check.
If we go g4. This is
Exactly like
very-
that.
Very bad news for black. And can we? How can we defend it? Not entirely clear. We have this maybe. Keeping an eye on a7.
But still, then check on a8. Your bishop is your rook is protected on b1. Rook
I
rook
have
b8.
All covered. Well,
But
not all.
not all, I guess.
Not all and not covered. Knight c3. Is it a move?
Wow.
Holding with my teeth.
Rook d8.
Yeah.
Rook d8.
Rook d1.
Chasing me.
No, this is somehow already.
Rook a8.
Might be 5.
Okay.
Yeah, but it has the
All right,
feeling
then
that
you have to. You can improve with white.
I'm
Yes.
somehow in big
you're
trouble.
missing something.
Even here, something like bishop or bishop goes from here. The bishops are extremely strong here, and
And your king doesn't feel comfortable as well, I guess. Yes. So.
Lei Tingjie is in trouble. Rook e3 is on the board. She has just over 5.5 minutes to make.
So what to do? Bishop c2, right? Check or bishop c2? What are the
These
alternatives?
are the options, yeah.
What are
So
the
bishop
alternatives?
c2.
Yeah. So our idea was, I don't remember already.
91.
91, yes.
That's not
Bishop
it's
d1.
not even our idea. It was the computer's idea, and it's very forcing. And the problem here is that you're kind of forced to play rook c1. And let me clear this. And
Check.
rook d8. The point is that we don't have bishop f8 because of bishop d6.
Mate.
Uh,
Net. You're like a fly in the spider's net.
And what to do? We have to go up and then rook d7. Not rook d7.
No, knight d3.
Knight d3. I still don't see why this is so important. What happens after rook d7, really? Do you just go here?
King e8, yes.
Oh, and then a bishop goes away and it's black who's winning, right? All of a sudden.
So my knight is hanging on
Because the
e-pawn.
knight is, is undefensible. So we have to
So
get...
it's interesting. I discovered my king. Yes, it's would not be natural. Yeah,
Absolutely.
King
So
d3.
knight d3 all of a sudden.
not afraid of anything. Yes.
We open this thing, the rook has to go.
Now
And now
check.
we check, and we are saying that after king e8,
So what comes now?
the computer gives rook a7.
Wow.
hitting this bishop on a3
Bishop
under all kinds of bishop f3 check is still not caring at all.
Okay, bishop b2 I was thinking actually instead of
Bishop e2, okay,
yeah.
bishop e2 makes more sense, but then you might be facing some
checkmates, or not
checkmates
not
of
met,
kinds, I think,
not
yeah?
mate yet.
Because, for instance, let's consider this. If
Check.
I give a check, if you go here,
Bishop,
then maybe something like this and just move the rook. Is this
I've
enough?
got
But
I've
the
got
bar didn't move. I'm
I've
happy.
got a piece less, but there is a mating net. Yes,
Unbelievable, yes.
beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And if the king goes back, then we.
Rook G, no.
How do we mate here?
Bishop C7
Go back
and Bishop
B6.
B6.
Yeah. Wow. This is beautiful. The bishops. Look at the beauty of those bishops covering. Wow.
I don't count the pieces, you know.
would
The
be-
mate is older, a stronger card, right?
It would be unbelievable. And rook e3, bishop c2 is on the board. The
So
computer,
will she find
guys,
knight
the
e1?
computer is giving 2 whole pawns advantage, which is a huge advantage in computer terms, given that we have an equal material here. So this is really a great chance.
Is it
for
so
the
natural
Bolshevik.
now, the move knight e1? Because you need to see this whole plan
Yeah.
that there's no danger after rook c1 attacking your own king, yes, so
It's very double-edged, right? You
Yeah.
see, because
that you now come with a tempo and grasp the d line, d file, yes, and
it is scary. It is very
it's,
scary.
I mean, now even king h2 probably is an option.
What is it?
I don't think it's bad. I'm not sure.
In terms of not
I mean,
losing for
thinking.
twist,
I mean,
yeah?
thinking of the position, what the options would be in the position Ju Wenjun needs to take the decision.
This is actually very much a move a human would consider and maybe play.
The
even,
first
right?
line, yes.
Because,
Yes.
For instance, because you kind of these are still stuck, right? And
now rook d7 or rook d8.
we are
is
out of
a
danger
threat,
and we're
right?
ready. But this is also maybe true for black. Apparently not.
Rook d8.
Yeah, but I have time, right?
Do you? Rook d6 is coming. If you're too slow.
I am, but I still have one move to make. Yeah, I cannot protect.
Knight
I
d3
cannot
is
defend.
coming. Your rook
Everything
is not
is coming, yeah.
comfortable. Bishop d1 is.
Maybe bishop e7. Prevent this, and on rook d7 I have bishop f6 then.
Maybe. Baby.
This would be extremely lucky for.
Am I still
for
rook
black.
d7? I guess. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
Knight d3.
Yeah, but now I can go that maybe.
Where back?
To safety.
Where back?
All the way.
All the way back.
Now I feel safe.
Safer. Safer.
Still some problems, yes? Bishop b4, kind-ish. But bishop b4 I can take and let's c5.
Yes. No, I take on f6 and knight f4. No?
Look at Ju Wenjun is thinking, will she find the winning knight e1? What do you think?
Show me the position and then, yes. Show me the position.
This is the position.
Because it's important also to understand what are the alternatives, yes? If you don't
Yeah,
have
there
many
are
alternatives, then you will figure it out.
Yeah, 91. But again, after having seen it, I'm very biased now. And yeah, this will be extremely interesting to see if Ju Wenjun finds the winning situation. Dana, thank you so much. Yeah,
So I came and made some mess on the board.
You made a lot of mess on the board, as we expected. And thank you for doing that again. And whenever we need to spice things up, we will
Call me.
Call you to the
I'm
broadcast.
around the corner.
It was a great pleasure. We know that you have other obligations to attend. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, and let us still have an exciting end game. I think quite an action is still ahead.
We're looking
especially
forward.
if Ju Wenjun will find 91. Looking forward to seeing how the...
We'll take a very short break. Let's take a look. We have a fantastic a cameraman here with us. Steve Bonage is a fantastic photographer and an extremely
having a
interesting
fresh look at the chess and
person.
yeah.
Absolutely. Let's take a look what he thinks about the.
Steve Bonage, you are taking the chess world by a storm since last year. Thank you for joining me. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks for making the time.
You have been the official photographer at the main FIDE events for the last year, the Candidates in Madrid, the Olympiad in Chennai, the match in Astana, and now the Women's World Championship. What is what you would like to highlight from these events, and which one was more exciting to shoot?
Well, you start straight off with a very difficult question. Who would have thought a year ago? I think all events are exciting in their own way. I mean, you have the candidates where everybody is battling for that final spot. It's very intense. The location in Madrid was amazing. I mean, the venue was beautiful for a photographer to work at. Then you had India, where there is this incredible chess boom, and to see an Olympiad with all these different nations has its own beauty. You can literally find every possible nation being represented, which is very cool. And then, of course, the highlight from that event itself was the first move of the first day. The media attention was so high. It was everything you can expect from a country like India. Then you had the World Championship match between Ding Liren and Jan Nepomniachtchi in Astana, which was very cool as well. It was very different because one table only for a long amount of time. Again, the venue was very beautiful. Kazakhstan was a great country to host, and it was very nice to spend so much time with two players and get to know them without ever speaking to them. The difficulty obviously is that you only have one table compared to the Olympiad, where you have hundreds of tables, or the candidates where you have 8. But yeah, that's a highlight as well. And now China with the female world championship match. For somebody who has lived several years in Asia, I'm happy to be back, and I enjoy the variety of locations, as we have 2 cities. We have Shanghai and Chongqing. And also very beautiful to see the ladies giving it their all, and from what I've seen, playing interesting games. Yeah, they're all interested. That's my short answer.
So you will not choose which one was the most exciting?
They're beautiful, all in their own way.
All right, and how would you compare this match to the one in Astana?
Well, I think the biggest difference is everybody who is following the World Championship matches, both for the women and for the men, is that we were actually struggling in Astana with having the 2 participants at the table for the first 1-2 matches. And here it's the complete opposite. The players are basically at the table all the time. They don't really move. Yeah, it's a bit more colorful, as we have a blue background, and the whole theme is a little bit more bluish. And in Astana was a more gray, black and white, a little bit more epic. So yeah, it's pretty much the same in a very different way.
And as you mentioned, we have only one board in the World Championship match. So what do you do with only 2 players? And here one is a bit more expressive, I will say, sadly, compared to the other. How do you approach this as a photographer?
Well, I had good training in Astana because Ding was the one who was very quiet, and then you had Jan, who was very expressive. And yeah, Lei for me is the Jan Nepomniachtchi of this match. He's very expressive. Sorry.
And maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both. And yeah, that makes it obviously more interesting for photographer as you see all these different expressions. You can read what's going on, while Ju is very focused, and with her you have to camp a little bit more, which means you have to stay on one spot and wait for this one opportunity where you might be able to read what's going on in her head. So yeah, a lot of work, a lot of camping, as I like to call it, a lot of sitting around and waiting for the right opportunity. And then, yeah, trying to show what's going on in the head without actually seeing it on the table. That's the goal, and that's the approach I try to do.
As you mentioned, you have lived in Asia for a couple of years, and what is that you like the most about those two cities that we are in during this match? Shanghai and Chongqing.
Well, Shanghai, I've been to Shanghai before. It's incredible what the humankind is capable of building. I mean, it's such a large city, and the people are super friendly, and I like to see how such a big city can work, like in a flow. And then you have Chongqing, who's a little bit the opposite. It's more nature, it's more on the mountain, it's more green, it's a little bit more local. I heard the hot pot here is incredible. That's basically what I came for.
All right, that's nice to hear. And from here, you will travel for the World Cup in Baku. That will be your first experience, as far as I know, as a photographer in a knockout tournament. The tension is probably quite high in such an event. How excited are you for this opportunity, and do you have some specific plans for this one?
Well, I was super excited for this event until my colleague David Yada called it the Grand Slam of chess photography. Now I'm more nervous, but obviously I'm looking forward. And yeah, with the knockout stage, it's a totally different environment. I'm looking forward to what I can do, how close I can go. I have a few things in mind, but I also like to surprise the audience. So yeah, you can stay tuned and wait for some interesting concepts I have in my mind.
All right, well, in that case, we are waiting for all your surprises. But for now, let's see some exciting shots from this tournament as well. Good luck with the hunt for the amazing pictures, and thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 8 of the World Championship match between Ju Wenjun and Lei Tingjie. Shu, we have a fantastic another fantastic opportunity for the world champion Ju Wenjun to equalize the match after 8 rounds. She's trailing by 1 point, but Lei Tingjie already had the draw in her hands. Almost, the position was almost technical draw, but then she, for some reason, she decided not to take the pawn on a3. And now, if the world champion finds the computer continuation, the computer is giving her 2.5 points pawns advantage, which is huge in terms of position in the end game. If we look at the game, Ju Wenjun is still thinking. She has 10 minutes, and she spots that this is a critical position for her. If she finds knight e1 here, the computer says knight e1 is just plain winning, because black cannot really hold on to both the pieces and the pawns on the 7th rank. Can she find it?
Well, I think actually thanks for Alik and Dana's good talking before, and I think now for white to play knight e1, bishop d1, then rook d3, rook d7 seems a very natural line for me.
It is, but it also looks very dangerous. For instance, if you play rook d7, it looks very dangerous for white, because if the bishop goes somewhere, how do you defend the pawn, the knight? You need to find the very exact move order to do that. It's not easy, right? We see the bar, we all see the bar. The computer says, for the computer, it's easy, it's piece of cake. It finds this rook d8 intermediate check, then d8. Knight goes to d3. Extremely important.
I like this move. Yeah.
Knight d3. The knight needs to go away from the pin, and only after the rook hitting the rook, and only after the rook moves to b1, only then can we go and look at this line that we saw. A fantastically beautiful line. If we play king e8, again, not clear why it's so good for white, because, for instance, the natural human move, bishop c6, loses the game by force after bishop f3 check, and it is checkmate on h1.
Yes.
So the only way to go here for white is to play rook a7, hitting the bishop on a3. And the point, the brilliant point being that if, for instance, you go bishop e2 check, take the bishop, we have bishop c6 check. And now if the king goes to d8, we have rook d7 check. Get this, we are a piece down, we don't take the piece back, we take on g7, threatening checkmate. And the king cannot escape. There is check on c7, the bishops control all the squares, and you simply, with being a piece up, you cannot defend from checkmate. How amazing is this?
Yes, this is really an amazing line. So if I play this position, maybe first I haven't found rook d8, knight d3 this line, but if I find this, maybe knight d3, rook b1, I will go for king h2, I think.
Exactly, this is exactly what we were thinking about with Dana. And here actually king h2, if we play in, after knight d3, king rook b1, king h2, you can see the bar is dropping. It is still much better for white, but not. But Ju Wenjun played knight d4. She did not go for this knight e1, because, as we said, for a human, it's very, very difficult to navigate through all those lines. These are not entirely a clear continuation, not intuitive at all. And this is what it goes, the world champion goes for knight d4, knight takes d4, rook a3. She goes for a very, very slight advantage. Instead, two bishops, a slightly weakened pawn for black, but of course it's nowhere near the decisive advantage that she could have gotten had she played knight e1. And I think at this point, neither of the players knows that this was losing for black. And knight c6 is played, not a trivial move for me. I think the point is that rook c3 is met by a move like knight c7, a very good calculation by Lei Tingjie. She has to be played fast. By the way, she has only 4 minutes 20 seconds. For 6 moves, not not such a big time pressure, but the pressure that you always keep your eyes on the clock.
And Ju Wenjun does play bishop c6. This is what I thought about this position. I'm not sure it's a clear draw or not. After white take the g7 pawn.
She takes, but I think black will manage to get counterplay quite with bishop e4.
Yes.
So for instance, if we go king e8 here, you take the pawn, and I think this is exactly the position, right? They already reached this position. The bishop on f7, I think king e8 is the most important, the most precise move, because king f8, you allow bishop g7 with check. King g8, of course, you allow rook g7 with check. King g6 just looks very scary. Maybe g4 is a move. You might get mated according to the bar. You are getting mated, it seems like. So we expect king e8 to be played, if nothing. King e8 was played, and now I think on any capture on g7, bishop e4 will be played. And how do you... You still have chances here, right? You still have chances with black. Maybe actually, you know, now I'm thinking maybe h5 is the better move here for black to make sure you don't play g4.
Yes, but I think maybe bishop e4 seems for me as more natural than
bishop
h5.
e4 is the most natural, but I'm not sure that if after g4, if I would love to have less pawns here, right?
Of course.
At this point. And Lei Tingjie is now exactly in this situation. She needs to choose whether to play the natural looking bishop e4, of course, or h5. A player of her level, I think.
Yes, actually, I like this thinking from Lei in this position, because for me, I will play bishop e4 immediately.
Yeah, same here. I have to admit, would probably, especially being low on time, there are those kinds of moves that you think, okay, this is an automatic move.
Yes.
But once you pause for a second, you kind of, I think you begin to understand that this probably might have, needs to be made, this h5 move. On the other hand, the h5, you know, the bishop from c2 defends this pawn on h7 very comfortably. Once we do play h5, we need to make sure we don't lose this pawn. Right?
Yes.
And I think, though, the problem for white is that if you start attacking it right away, then bishop e4 is kind of forcing, because it threatens mate in 2. And how do you defend without playing something like g4? Or if you play f4, for instance, then we have a move like rook c2.
Yes.
We will love to exchange those pawns. This is very, very drawish, very dry. The pawns are near each other. You cannot really, and because we have this pawn on e6, the bishop will have a very strong position, a very strong square to hold on f5. Very, very hard to break through for white.
And I think from this position, any of the pawn exchanged. Only if h pawn, black's h pawn exchange the f2 pawn for white. I think any other pawn exchange is better for black.
Yes, and black will be happy, of course, with any pawn exchange. Only 2 minutes 20 seconds for Lei Tingjie. She still needs to make 4 moves.
Yes.
So she needs to keep track of her clock. Probably she can afford to waste another maybe even minute or even a minute and a half here to make this decision. She knows it's a critical decision here, right?
Yes.
So she wants to make sure she doesn't make a mistake here, because one such mistake a few moves ago almost cost her the game. She doesn't know it. Probably she doesn't know it. Maybe she felt uncomfortable, but the players, of course, they cannot put an exact number of assessment, right? The knight e1, they might feel it was promising for white,
yes,
but not know for sure. Here she knows she needs to make a draw. She plays king f8. This is very surprising. She plays neither h5 nor bishop e4. She plays king f8. And the point being that if we play a g4 here, she will start attacking the bishop, I think.
But how about bishop f6? It seems the natural
bishop
move.
f6, and now h5.
h5. Yes, but I'm not
but
really
it's not
agreed.
entirely clear why it's so good because we have g5, for instance. Right?
Yes.
A move like that might be annoying, or maybe even a move like f3.
Ah, yes.
With an idea, as you said, right? We really don't want to get to let white have 2 passed pawns.
Yes.
How do we approach this position? But black has a very strong bishop d1 here, hitting all those pawns, and the king cannot really help here, I think, because we have this check, and the rook will go somewhere along. We need to find a good place and not to get under checks. Maybe rook d2,
Yes.
and start hitting the pawn on f3. g4 is played by the world champion, which is
Yes.
the most natural move, of course, for white to make.
Actually, I think to play rook c5, bishop f6, and h5 is not easy in this position, because sometimes, you know, if you don't do anything in this position, black is fine.
Yes,
But-
but you know, I would argue that if you don't do anything, I will push my pawn to h5.
Yes, I want to say it's fine for at least the 10 moves you will not lose the game. But if you play h5 after g5, maybe you will lose it immediately.
This is true.
Yeah.
This I agree, because you might be losing by force, and we haven't even looked yet at a move like g5, which could be like, you know, the pawn runs 2 touchdown.
Yes.
And how do we go about this move here?
So I think
So rook c5, bishop f6 is
it's
on the board.
Yes, it's very natural, and now I think it's the decision of
It's
the
a
game.
very, very big decision. And by Lei Tingjie, do we need to play h5? Maybe not. Maybe not at all. Maybe we can afford to play a move like bishop e4.
Yes, bishop e4. I think for me, I will play king h2. I think.
King h2, and now maybe, you know, I'm thinking what we ideally would love to do is to exchange the rooks. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, for instance, a move like rook b5 and rook b7
yes.
might be very, very much in our interests. And Lei Tingjie played bishop e4. She does not go for h5. What will white do? King h2, the most natural, the most human move to make,
Yes.
as we predicted.
Yes. It's like we are playing the World Championship.
Well, that's of course.
Yes, and Ju Wenjun first.
She reaches
reached
the
the-
time control after the 40th move, and it's Lei's turn to make her move. She has 1 minute and 10 seconds to make the move. She can use all this time. She's not going to probably use all of this time.
Yes.
I think she will take the rook to the b file. I think it looks very natural for her to do.
Wow.
She plays rook
Rook
b5,
b5.
indeed, with the idea, as we said, with the idea of rook b7. She should hold it. It has to be said, although the computer says it's only 0.20, there is a lot of game ahead of us still,
Yes.
because it's not automatic. White will try to squeeze. White will try to find a way to push one pawn or another. Of course, not exchanging any pawns, right?
Yes.
We want to keep as many pawns on the board as possible, because, of course, with every pawn that is disappearing from the board, drawing chances for black are getting higher and higher.
Yes.
Sure, we might eventually see an endgame, a rook and bishop against a rook.
I think it has some chances, but if the bishops are now they are opposite color bishops. If the bishops are in the same color, it will much easier to get to a rook bishop against a rook. Let's imagine, for example, we just left only one pawn.
Yes.
We exchange 2 of our pawns, and I have a bishop on light square. Then for example, if you only left and g4 pawn, I can put all my pieces, rook, bishop, king, to try to cover the
square, and then push it, and forcing you basically to give up this bishop for a pawn, which is also a theoretical draw, but we would face a very, very long night ahead of us because the players always exhaust all the 50 or 75 moves at their disposal before agreeing to a draw. So this is the current position. World champion Ju Wenjun had fantastic chances to equalize the match again in this game also. Like yesterday, it wasn't easy. It was actually a little bit by mistake, right?
Yes.
She didn't really, she was not supposed to get this chance. But she got lucky a little bit, and then she got unlucky by not finding this very long and complicated computer line. But now it's very much in her style, this position, trying to squeeze, playing against weaknesses, right? She will try to destabilize black's position because black has two weaknesses.
Yes.
And actually, I would even claim black has three weaknesses: a weak king
and the 2 pawns.
and the 2 pawns, right?
Yes.
So while the computer might be able to navigate easily along all those lines, for a human it's much more difficult to do so, because, for instance, how do you defend the pawn now? You cannot play bishop d5,
Yes.
of course, because you're dropping the pawn on h7. To play something like rook b6, you feel that you're kind of getting a little bit passive already.
Yes.
With defending.
Actually, I'm really surprised that rook b6, the bar goes
Yes,
a lot.
I didn't see, I don't even see why this is so bad.
I can explain this move is a little more passive, because, for example, king g3 for white, maybe you still cannot play rook b7, and also e5 is not allowed in this position. I can play rook e5 if I play king g3, but I don't know why it goes too much.
Yeah, this is a bit strange, but it goes to show you that if black is not careful or fast enough, let's just pretend. Okay, so we go away, right? And if black just stays, it does nothing. Then the king marches all the way up. So how we win such positions with white?
Yes.
First of all, we ask the first question: where do you go with the bishop? You must stay on this diagonal, right?
Yes.
So if you stay, I still go here. I will go here with the king. I will start pushing my pawns. How do you defend?
I think
it's not clear at all.
I think the always we said in the end game we could not. There is a saying in football, like we could not put a bus before our I don't know how to say
our
it.
goal.
Yes,
exactly.
we can. In chess we cannot do this. Like rook a6, rook b6. These moves are too passive, and
I agree, but this I just wanted to show the plan for white. White's plan is very simple, right?
Yes.
And basically, you don't have good attacking moves here with black. What can you attack? You have nothing to attack. So you will eventually you will need to keep somehow this passive attack, passive defense with your pieces. And this is not an easy position at all to defend. So I was saying, sorry, another point I want to make. So for instance, we make here with the king.
Yes.
And then we will play something like a bishop e5, f4 to make sure nothing here happens.
Yes.
Then the pawn will push, we will push the pawn. This is our plan. Of course, black will need to find a way to somehow play against it. And here, I would even say that even this is winning, because this is never you are never going to hold those pawns against me.
I will put my king even in the h8 square.
If we need, the king goes to h8, or it goes, anything basically wins here for white. And even if we don't sacrifice, This move is also a winning move
Yes.
because, well, because you see how it goes. And how do you defend? If for instance here, if you say, okay, I wait for you to get somewhere here, and I start.
Maybe rook b3.
Okay,
Here.
Okay.
Maybe
Rook a3.
rook a2 maybe.
And I start holding from behind, for instance, right? Not
Yes.
allowing you either g6 or rook h7. But then what do you do about this pawn, right?
Yes.
So I will start attacking. For instance, I give you a check. You
Wow.
can go no. You cannot go here because I take. If you go here,
It's checkmate
it's
into.
checkmate here and rook f7,
Yes.
right? You can.
Or maybe we just rook c8, rook f8. Yes.
Wait, the computer says it's no mate. Why?
Yes. King rook
Ah,
h5.
I
yeah.
just blundered. Okay, I just
Yes.
blundered this one.
We just don't play rook g7.
But just rook b7. and
yes,
checkmate.
it's-
Yes.
Too much.
Or as you said, just check and mate on f8. So,
Yes.
but you get the point. And Lei Tingjie does go for this
Rook b6.
for this passive defense. I think she is in for a very unpleasant defense. I'm not sure she will. Black will be able to hold it, even though the machine has maybe it's holdable. I think White will have a very Black will have a very hard time defending this position. Wow, what a series of exchanges of
Yes.
favors, let's say it, right? Black had a draw. White was winning almost by force. Then Black had draw again. Now Black is suffering. Guys, we will take a short break before the last. The game will be long. We know the game will
Yes.
be long. We'll take a short break, a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. See you on the other side of this break.
Which of the two will fight to the end and become the new queen? Which of the two will resist the pressure and finally hold the trophy of the victory? Which of the two will inherit the glory of the East? Very soon the battle of wisdom is about to begin. A breathtaking confrontation across the chessboard is imminent.
那我觉得每一次对抗赛都是不同的。我的目标就是认真的去下好每一
Ju
盘棋。
Wenjun has a really strong heart. She will excel at seizing any opportunity. Her willpower will be released on the chessboard, determined to retain her title and stay at the
以
top.
前的比赛每一场棋其实都会是难忘的，但是我觉得在接下来的这场比赛将会是我职业生涯当中最难忘的一场比赛。
Lei Tingjie is the new challenger. She will fight for every inch of the board, eager to showcase her fresh energy and aspiration. Two strong players from the mysterious East, the best teammates and toughest opponents. On the stage of 64 white and black squares, they will demonstrate their best performance and unveil unlimited, exciting possibilities.
2018年，我第一次拿到了女子世界冠军。2020年对戈尔亚奇金娜那一盘，那一次对抗赛，在快棋中扳平比分，在后代加赛中战胜对手。 每一次对抗赛它都是不同的，但对我来说，我的目标就是去认真的去下好每一盘棋。不管是在棋上，包括在生活上，我觉得我可能要比之前的稳重一点吧，不能说成熟，更稳重一些。现在来说，我也做好准备去迎接这一次的挑战。It's kind of different because when you know your opponent, she knows you well. So for me, I feel it's something new. I mean, in this match, every game is I will do my best. I think I will just try to play every game as best as I can, and also I hope I can to win the match. 战斗到底是我不变的信念和态度，成功卫冕，让属于自己的时代继续。
上一次赢下来了以后呢，心里面也是挺开心的，相当于是打了一个强心剂。每一场棋其实都会是难忘的，但是我觉得在接下来的这场比赛将会是我职业生涯当中最难忘的一场比赛。I think play against a friend is quite interesting, and also for me, she's not only the friend, and she's also a great player in China. So for me, I just respect her very much. I would like to challenge myself. To be honest, because this is my dream, I would like to say I want to win this match. Now probably it's the last step. No, I don't think this is the last step. I prefer to be a simple person. Winning the match is like a goal for me. I mean, I'm a person who likes enjoying to play chess. Results can change anything for me. 用挑战去创造另一种可能，因为无畏，所以无惧。
Welcome back, guys, for the final part of this game 8 between of the World Championship match between Ju Wenjun and Lei Tingjie. The world champion Ju Wenjun is trailing by 1 point, but she has all the chances today to equalize the score. What do you say?
I think when we arrived at Chongqing, Ju Wenjun really did good in performance, better than what she did in the hometown Shanghai. And let's see about actually yesterday I see some speaks from Judith Borga, and she said Ju Wenjun really played well yesterday, and maybe she thought she has the chance to equalize the scores. So let's see about the position now.
Yeah, and Ju Wenjun is beginning to execute the plan that we are we expect her to try, right, to start pushing the pawns. The king should go. How can black hold? The computer says it is totally holdable for black, but she needs to find the way to do that.
Yes.
And
but how?
if anyone can do it, I think Lei Tingjie is the one.
Yes.
And you know, I looked at the computer line, I cheated, I admit, but black has this beautiful, beautiful resource here.
Yes.
Rook b2, attacking the pawn. Of course, the point is that you never want to trade rooks as white, because this is just drawish after a rook's exchange. If you take the pawn, then we have this very important check on f2.
And
King goes up, rook f3 check,
Yes.
king will go have to go down. Even king f7 is a draw here. This is a, it will
Easy.
probably, but it is an easy draw. So this is the easiest for black in terms of making a draw.
But
Of
actually,
course, you don't want to give up
Yes.
this pawn. You will want to play something like king
g3.
g3, but then rook b3 check.
I'm,
If the king goes
yes.
up, rook f3 check.
Well, rook
Ah,
f3.
no, I thought rook f3
Yeah,
check.
rook f3. I think it's losing. I'm not
You
sure.
take,
I take
you
on
just take on
h3,
a7. Sorry, I
h3,
thought.
7.
Yeah, this is losing because there are two pawns, two connected passers. So rook f3 is not the move, but there is rook b4.
Wow, it's a kind of really difficult.
I think the point is that if king g5, then we have a very important bishop f3,
Yes.
hitting the pawn on g5. If you have to play g5 yourself, you don't have this penetration anymore.
And g5, I think
I think
bishop
immediately bishop g6 even, yes? Maybe in take or
Yes, I want to say about bishop d5.
Or
then
bishop
rook
d5
rook
and
b7. Yeah.
and rook b7, right? This is
Yeah.
very tricky. And then how do you proceed? I think even a move like king e5, we
Yes.
have bishop d5 attacking the pawn. You have to defend it
yes.
somehow, and then a rook b7, forcing the exchange of rooks. Once the rooks are off the board, the bishop, we are out of dangers,
Yes.
basically, right? But it's not easy to find by
Yes.
any means. A very tricky.
It's even
Maybe-
difficult to think about this.
Even
move.
when you know, it's hard to understand what's going on.
Yes. And Alik,
But if not, how do you do? How do you defend it? The problem for black is that one piece is has to defend the pawn, the other has to defend the other pawn,
yes.
and you kind of don't have other moves.
Yeah, if let's say it, if I don't play rook b2, what I can play is rook a6, rook b6.
Yeah, for instance, if
This
we
is-
play rook a6, then
Okay, maybe rook c7 first, because king g3 goes to rook a3. It's the same.
exactly. So we need to move the rook away from being attacked, right, and from being exchanged.
Yes.
which is almost the same here. And once the rook is out, now we have paved the way for the king, right?
Yes.
All the way. Sorry, I will get better with the arrows. Let's try again. Now it's much more,
Yes.
much nicer. How can we defend this position?
I really have no idea with this position, but I think now for Lei Tingjie, she needs some luck to find the rook b2. I have to say rook b2, this kind of move, if you can find it in the game, it's about some luck.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, at some point here, and she has shown many times before,
Yes.
that she, like yesterday, when she sacrificed 2 pawns, but very concretely she found the way that she gets to domination. So she doesn't really, she's not bound by those general thoughts like, oh, I have to cling to this pawn or to this pawn, you know. she's very open-minded in her defensive task, which is a very great quality.
Yes.
So I would argue that she is perfectly able to find it, although it's really artificial, right? The computer gives the line, but if you see the line, it's very forced, right? So you are
Yes.
attacking here.
And
This
king
is kind of
G3,
forced,
yes, forced,
because
yes.
if not, then we just check and go back. So you have to go to G3. Rook B3 also.
Yes, king F4
the
is also
response
forced.
is forced, and here you have to find basically the key move is Rook B4, right? It's extremely difficult to find.
Really difficult, yes.
But if you manage to find it, because you also have, I mean, it kind of also has ideas, right? It
Yes.
has a very good idea that here you know that you want to play Rook B7, but your bishop is hanging, right? You cannot play Bishop D5 because you just give up this pawn on D7. Of course, I'm kind of trying to explain after I know. To
Yes.
find it from zero is a lot more difficult, maybe even impossible. I'm not saying it is. But if she finds this idea of Rook B4 with the threat of Bishop F5 or moving the bishop and Rook B7, of course she will not lose the game, because here really
Yes.
White is kind
Can
of
do nothing.
can do nothing more, because if she goes back, then check on B3.
So let's try something. For example, I go king E5,
King E5, Bishop D7.
bishop D5.
Hitting this pawn on G4.
Now, I want to ask if I play G5, the move for black is to play Rook H4 or Rook B7.
Good question.
Yes, because if you Rook B7 is not such easy to draw.
Rook B7 is
I have to take and take.
I think because I have this. Oh, this is losing. Why is this losing?
I really don't know why is this losing. Maybe I should play bishop E5 or something to move my king to F6 first.
And if we wait,
Yes.
you go to F6,
You-
and then
You always wait. What
wait
shall
and
I
go
do?
here, and then you just play this. I have to move my bishop.
Ah, yes.
Wow. Okay, and because if we don't move the bishop, then King F7 is just mating. And wow, and if the bishop moves, then the pawn just starts rushing.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a very interesting point. How do we make a draw here? Why the computer is claiming this is a draw? Is it because of some H6 move? Not really. H6 would just go by with G6. So apparently the machine goes here. Okay, no, but this is actually very valid, and we go with the king here, right?
Yes.
And if we play H5, then there is an important bishop G4, and now we manage to get
Yes.
or
maybe
just with some. This is the best way to do that, right?
Yes.
So
So bishop C.
it is findable, but not easy, right? And
really
if you
difficult.
remember in Tan Zhong, in her match against Tan Zhongyi,
Yes.
she had exactly the same. This game that we spoke about, when she had a pair of bishops, this advantage, which eventually she transposed into an opposite color bishop endgame, which should have been drawn, but it was much easier, I even made a short video on this, I think, back then. It was much easier to claim that it was a draw when you know it's a draw, when you have seen a draw, because when playing, especially being short on time, there were some things that were kind of very scary for black, which she tried to avoid by putting the bishop from behind, and it turned out to be lost.
And actually, I think Tan Zhongyi is in really time pressure.
Yeah, she was time pressure, exactly. So it was really not an easy task to do. Like here, so if you are calculating this, and Lei Tingjie would need to calculate it long before here. She would need to see that position. She would need to evaluate that this is a draw. Although maybe, as you said, maybe she doesn't need to play rook b7, right? Maybe she can play indeed rook h4. Is this a draw? Maybe this is an easier draw, right? Because you still keep all the balance. Yes, your king is. We have seen better kings in our lives, right?
Yes.
But you're not losing. So if she sees this idea, I think, of rook b4, this is only one move that you need to find, a critical move. Not an easy task, really not an easy task.
It's really difficult to find rook b4 from rook b2.
Yes, because you need to start with rook b2, also not an obvious move, because our brain works in a way that you kind of crossed this square long ago, right? You cannot go there. It's marked somewhere in our brain, and now you need to see that, okay, in this specific line where the rook on e7 is still hanging, it is possible. What do you think? Will she find it? Because if she doesn't, what happens if she doesn't?
I think if she doesn't find rook b2, this well goes for at least 50% winning chances for Ju Wenjun.
Yeah,
yes,
I agree.
I think, for example, you play rook c6 or rook a6. I just put my rook on a7 or c7. I just get away from some rook b2, some bishop d5, rook b7 chances for black, and the king g3, king f4. These moves are unstoppable, I think. If I can manage to give one more move for white to make sure you cannot play bishop d5, rook b7. I think it's really hard to defend. Especially you only have 10 minutes now.
That's what I wanted to say, that this is exactly the reason that Lei Tingjie is taking so much time in this position, because she understands that if she just waits passively, she cannot defend this game, and rightly so, I think. I was thinking, how about this move here? Is this a move?
Yes, actually, Alik, I want to ask a question after this. How about this position? Can black play e5 or not? I'm not sure. Okay, we can discuss it later. So, this you play the e5 here. Is this line?
So the point is that, okay, we are attacking this bishop, but not maybe just g5, and this is I kind of forgot about g5. Yes. Another move which might be interesting, but I'm biased now. I like rook b2 very much. But that's I think according to our video feed, the rook was not played to b2. The rook went to b3 instead.
Wow,
Now this is just giving up the pawn. I think the idea is that she wants to play rook f3 after rook takes e6.
But rook f3, I can play bishop e7, I think.
There is just bishop e7 and game over, right. So what is black's idea?
Actually, I don't understand it. Maybe I need to. So maybe she wants to play bishop f3 because after bishop f3 you have to play g5, and maybe she wants to.
She wants to have it similar to yesterday, to cut the king along the third the third rank.
Yes, but
like that, maybe. Maybe this is her plan.
Yes, bishop g4. Yes, here for white, I'm not sure this position without both rocks is winning or draw, but let's just think it's a draw. If it's a draw, rook e4 is not possible here because rook h3, king g2. Of course, I cannot take this. King g3 is winning, but I have bishop f3.
Yes, this is important resource.
Yes. So,
And Lei Tingjie has only 9 minutes left, a very, very little time in such an unpleasant position to defend.
yes. And
I
okay,
think this is a golden opportunity for Ju Wenjun to equalize the match, to win the game, to equalize this match, and have all and we will have a 4-game match for the World Championship.
Yes.
In the remaining games. Of course, it's not over yet, but the computer says White has a commanding lead here. A 2-point advantage, a 2-pawn advantage is a huge advantage in such an endgame. And more importantly, it's very difficult for Black to defend. I don't understand what is the point. Lei Tingjie must have something in mind for playing this.
I can explain it because Lei Tingjie thinks first she haven't found rook b2, or maybe she find but she doesn't find rook b4 in after king f4. Then she thought rook a6 and the passive moves are losing after king g3, king f4, king g5. So maybe this why she gave up the pawn to make sure you cannot climb your king immediately.
Yes, but 2 pawns, she knows that 2 pawns are way too much to play against. Let's see what's her plan. This is really in the moment of truth for Ju Wenjun. Does she take? Is she obliged to take? By the way, maybe what happens if she just goes to c7? You see the evaluation; it drops drastically. If you don't take on e6, you cannot win this game.
Yes.
What do we learn from Lei's reactions? Is she content, or maybe she already kind of agreed with herself that this game is lost? I don't think so. She's a great fighter. I don't think she has given up.
So rook e6.
Is she planning to play king f7? This
No,
looks
it's
hopeless. Very hopeless. What is her plan? I think Ju Wenjun is trying to understand just as we do. What is Black's idea here? Bishop f3 it seems to be the move.
Promising move. And g5, I think.
G5 looks the only move, right?
Yes,
because we cannot go to g3.
I'm not sure, but seems like bishop d5.
Bishop d5 forces a rook exchange, and this is an easy draw, it should be said.
Yes. Yes. Pawn e3 is not difficult.
Yes, the pawn. Black will eventually somehow hold all the pawns on this diagonal, and White cannot make any progress. Okay, so g5 will need to be played. And now I am guessing that Lei Tingjie is planning to start attacking those pawns. How will she do that?
Actually, I really haven't found a good plan for Black here. Bishop g4, I can play rook e7. And you still cannot.
I still cannot take because
king
here
g3,
there is even king g3 or even
or g6.
G6.
It's also
both
winning.
are equally winning, and this is very difficult to understand. What is Black's plan? Is the plan to play?
No, rook
before
b4
is
is.
even
I checked. Bishop e7 is winning. I checked
Really?
it. Yes.
How is it winning?
King
This-
f7, I can play rook f6.
Rook f6 check. No, rook f6.
Oh,
I
it's
take
not
on
winning?
h4.
I'm careless. I think rook h3 is winning. I will.
Rook h3.
Yes, it's
King,
very
rook
careless.
King f5, and it's all of a sudden it's
Yes,
a draw.
it's a draw. So sorry
Because
for.
Black
Yeah.
manages to win this pawn, but
I
here
saw.
it's important not to take on g5
Yes,
because
you
this
cannot
would
take.
be lost for for Black. But I think we can just hold on like that.
Yes.
And this is a drawish because the king is cut off. Rook e6 is on the board. Bishop f3 played by Black.
Very
We are
quickly.
expecting very quickly. Of course, she was going for it, but after g5, it's very hard for me to see what is Black's plan here.
Yes.
I think the world champion is on her way to equalize the match to win back in game 8. Still has to be, of course, not to jinx anyone. There's still some technical part ahead of us.
Yes. So here, let's say something like bishop h5. I give up all the things. I just want to move my bishop to g6, and it seems like you are not easy to move your king to the 4th rank because my rook is here. And how do you win this position?
Okay, good question. Let's see. So first of all, I think I will go away. Oh, you know what? I have a question for you. How is this?
I don't know actually, but
so if,
I will take
if you need to take, and I think you must take, because if you
yes,
go
of course.
somewhere, then you just
Even maybe g6 is winning.
probably, yes. That's what I. So if you go here, g6, h6, right? You must play something like g5.
Yes.
You give back the bishop, and having this pawn is just a very easy win for white. g5 is on the board, by the way. So, and Lei Tingjie is thinking now, maybe she mixed up something in her calculation. Maybe she thought she has something which she doesn't. She doesn't look happy at all. You can see it on her facial expression.
Yes.
Really not happy. Wow, what a roller coaster game in terms of draw being back and forth, being on the table. But now the challenger is in a big trouble, of course. I cannot see her saving this game, I have to admit.
Yes.
I don't even see a plan how you hold those pawns, because these two extra pawns will get in motion sooner or later. And to add even more on top of that, the pawn, the h pawn is of the dark square, so you don't even have the ideas of sacrificing the bishop
Yes.
for 2 pawns, because the bishop and pawn endgame will win for white also.
Yes. But let's mention something. But I think it's not easy to mention it. For example, all the pieces are done. Maybe I can show it. Let's just say it is impossible to play like this. But for example, I go this and king g8, h5 here. Let's make some very stupid moves. But in this position, it's a draw.
Yes, exactly. So
only
even this is, yeah, this is the only draw, because we cannot get the king out of the corner.
Yes, my king is just in these 3 squares, and you cannot make any progress. And but if let's say if white pawn is on h5, white can go king g5, king h6, and it's winning. But I think it will never in this game.
Yeah, here, although it can theoretically happen, I think Ju Wenjun will make sure it does not happen. Bishop g4 was played. Maybe this is what Lei Tingjie missed.
Yes.
It looks like it. She was going for rook e7 is on the board. Maybe she was going for this forced rook h3.
Yes.
She thought in calculations very easy to go wrong. You see some line, you think in your calculations, okay, I'll take back this pawn and I draw immediately. Of course, if she managed to take, for instance, if here she played bishop f5, if it was black to move, let's say the rook is on a7, then this is, of course, an easy draw for black.
Yes.
But what to do? White will not allow this to happen. Probably a king g2
King
will
G2,
be
yeah.
played, or
But king g2, bishop h3 is a move, maybe.
yes, maybe king g2, bishop h3 poses some. So basically saying, okay, now how do you improve your position, right?
Yes.
Maybe this is what Lei Tingjie is hoping for to achieve.
Yes,
But maybe we can win a tempo, right? We can triangulate a little bit. You have to go back to protect this pawn, and now we have h5. Whenever we manage to play h5, I think black is in trouble. However, wait, what happens here?
yes. Here, actually, black has some chances because after
Because if we
h6,
play h6, it feels that
we have some chance to get the endgame. Like,
well, first of all, we have the chances to get your endgame, the one that you mentioned for sure. But also, we feel that whenever those pawns are blocked
Yes.
on the dark squares, we have chances to stop white from pushing forward, right?
yes, but I think this position still not the position you will say black is make sure promise this is a draw. I don't think
No,
so.
black is for sure not cannot ensure the draw. You know what the problem is? I think a problem is that we have this plan of rook. For instance, if you just well, not blundering the rook. If you just keep here, I can't play that, I think. And if you take h7 is just winning.
Yes,
I
so
saw the bar drop here drastically.
king f7 is the move.
The computer draws here with king f7,
Wow.
which is something that is easy to overlook.
Okay, so maybe I go my bishop to e5.
Yeah. So but the point is basically, so you have the time.
Yes, to do these things.
f4 is apparently also because rook d7 by chance we allowed
yes.
the rooks to be exchanged, but you get the point. So g6 and h7 will be a winning attempt, a very serious winning attempt.
Yes.
So all in all, this position seems very, very difficult, if not lost altogether, for black.
And it seems like Ju played a move. King g2 is on the board.
King g2, probably bishop h3 needs to be played anyway.
Yes. Actually, like this triangle is always seen in the end games.
Yes, this is not anything too difficult, especially for a player, of course, as strong as
Ju
the
Wenjun.
world champion.
Yes. So here for black, maybe let's say after king g2. So here is a question: should black goes for this line, because this line will force you to put your pawn on h6. So black, so for black, is she really want white to put her pawn on h6, or I just easily play bishop g6 to avoid you to play h5, or maybe h5 I take. I'm not sure pawn on h4 or h6, which is benefit for black to make a draw?
I would think that this is a good question. Yeah.
Yes.
I would think that probably on h6, because I feel that h5 g6 is a very unpleasant threat to face.
Yes, and let's say, for example,
Look at Ju Wenjun's posture. She is almost lying on the table. She knows it's winning. She definitely knows it's winning. But she is not rushing anywhere. And Lei Tingjie is down. She has only 6.5 minutes, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. The time in her position, although she can make many moves very fast,
yes,
but she still will. There will be time where she needs to make it a very precise move. She will be lacking this time, but maybe time is not her biggest problem. The computer shows 3 pawns advantage here for white. That means white is winning, and as opposed to a +3 advantage that we saw yesterday, for instance, or even today with knight e1 with those sharp lines, when you need a lot of calculations, here you don't really need it. Here you really, the human knows it's winning. Maybe we don't operate in terms of +2 or 3. For us, it doesn't really matter, right? If you know it's winning, it's winning. It doesn't matter if it's +4 or +0.5. Even if it's winning, you know how you win it. You win it slowly. And Ju Wenjun for sure knows that this is winning. She needs to be careful, of course, not to allow rook exchanges, because this would be most likely a draw.
Yes, this is the biggest thing for Ju Wenjun. She need to be careful.
Yes, exactly. And now she is considering, as you said, do I want my pawn on h6? Because this is these are the kinds of things that you are afraid of in this kind of situation. To make one harsh move, to be forced to play bishop pawn on h6, and then suddenly black gets this fortress and you cannot break. Right? So, but again, with such a passive king on f8 and such advanced pawns and such a dominating bishop on f6, all of these factors, you kind of get the feeling that it should be winning, it must be winning. And but of course, in Ju Wenjun's place, you really want to make sure you know the win, not just general terms, right? You imagine yourself, okay, how do I place my pieces? How do I push? How do I force the pawn to f5, right? How do we do it? So, for instance, so we play. Do we play h5?
I think h5. I like h5. I like to play my pawn to h6 because if I don't play h5 first, rook h3 is a very big threat. Maybe what I can do to if I don't want to play h5, I have to play some moves like rook c7, rook c4 to.
Let's see. Let's say we play rook c7. Right?
Yes, and for example, rook h3 played by black, and maybe I have to play rook c4, and then king f7. You can put your king to some squares like g6, h5. Okay, the computer really doesn't
but
like.
it doesn't matter. The computer is not playing here in this game, so. But a human approach, right? So you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, so I let the king out a little bit, right? It makes my task a little bit harder to break through with f4.
Yes.
And
when black managed to put her king on h5, maybe I will lost my pawn. Even.
Exactly. Although I would argue that, you know, if we, let's just pretend, allow black to take the pawn. So if you take, I take, you take. Oh, but yeah, you're lucky that you
Yes.
that the bishop holds, and this is indeed a draw. Even that the pawn almost got it all the way
Yes.
to G8, not enough. And here again, as we said, with the pawn on the dark squares, we will be able to just put this unbreakable barrier,
Yes.
which white can never cross on the light squares. But Ju Wenjun did play h5, rook h3, h6 is on the board, so she has seen how she breaks through. She probably, well, she must have seen that she has this idea of rook
Yes.
g7 followed by g6. Maybe she will not even need it because she can also try and push the f pawn forward.
Yes. So now I think rook d3 played by Lei Tingjie. I like this move. The point of rook d3 is to play rook d7 next move. And I think for Lei, she needs to play rook d7, and of course white will get the rook back, and I will play king f7, king g6. After my king goes to g6, it makes black have some chance for draw. So rook d3 is
rook d3 is played. She wants to place the rook here. A very valid attempt by black, right?
Yes.
If you go, what to do? You have to hold the position. You probably know it's not good enough. For instance, let's say white. How do we play with white? Can we play f4? We don't want to play f4.
Yes,
so
I think so.
Maybe just let's start with moving the rook. Let's say you play rook d7. I move back. How do you prevent me from f4, f5? Is this even an option for black?
Yes. Well, so rook d7 is always met by
rook e5 or rook to the 5th rank somewhere.
And f4, f5 is.
Ju Wenjun play king h2. She wants to bring the king to the game again with the idea that rook e5 will meet any rook d7 move, and for instance bishop g6, f4 followed by f5, you cannot prevent it. And if once the pawn lands on f5, we kind of know it's game over, and white will not even black will not even probably try to defend it for too long. So this is very bad news for the challenger. She is on the verge of losing, and really you cannot see anything that goes in her direction here in this position. What if we what if we stick to our initial plan to keep black white king caught along the 3rd rank? How do we make progress? So we always have this idea, right, of rook g7?
And rook g7, now I have rook d3.
You go back, and the threat is to checkmate my rook, right?
Yes.
So how do we go about this one? As we said, g6 looks tempting, but it just forfeits basically here we have a problem of rook h3 even. But even if not, even this is good enough, because here very important, black has
king f7.
Does black have king f7? Rook g3? We just
take.
Yes,
take,
this
yes.
is
h6.
We are in time to capture the pawn on h6, and this is a draw. Wow, so g6 will not be played here.
Yes.
How do we break through?
Oh, this D3 square is really
Annoying.
yes, because you know
but
I
are we threatening this D7 is a threat, right?
yes, this one is a threat because after yes
I wanted, yeah, let's show it, because there might be an illusion that this is bad due to G6, but there is Bishop F5, an
Yes.
important move that covers.
and I want to say this in this position. In this position, if I want to, actually one move I want to play is Bishop B2, and the reason is if I play Bishop B2, you play Rook D7, I can play Bishop A3. But I want to say if I can put my bishop on E5, D4, these squares are much better than I play Bishop B2. I really don't want my bishop on this
Absolutely.
square. Yes.
And it apparently it's not so easy here, right?
Yes, actually, this is not winning. I'm just yes, black is.
So as you can see, although the computer is saying it is easily winning for white, there are still obstacles to overcome here.
Yes. So maybe before I go Rook G7, I need some moves. For example, so they played
checked on
and
H3 and moved back to D3.
But why should she do this? Because F3 is actually I really don't want white to play F3.
Right, F3
Yes.
looks like a very good improvement for white,
Yes.
but maybe she thinks that she wants to attack the F pawn from, but then
Yes,
H7
is hanging.
falling.
Yes. So because you if you don't play Rook H3, you play some moves like Rook D3. White cannot play F3. This is why I really confused how white to win this game. If you play King G2, next move F3, but I can play Bishop H3. Wherever you go, I go back. It will gives white some problems in this position.
This is true.
Actually, I have some ideas. For example, if I go Rook A7, I'm okay. You go Rook D3, and I goes for some moves like King H2. You goes Rook B3, and now I goes Bishop E5. I'm not sure this is good or not. If you go Rook D3, I just wait another move, and you go Rook B3 here. I can go Rook G7. Because Rook D3, I can go G6 now.
Well,
right?
this is the point. At some point, yeah, probably the winning plan is to move the bishop away and put the rook on G7 and then sacrifice this exchange on G6 and just run all the way to touchdown. Again, using the fact that we still have one pawn, only one, but it is enough, a sufficient pawn for a win of the game. I think Ju Wenjun has found the plan. Lei Tingjie has only 3.5 minutes, but it's not really about the time anymore. It's more about the position, and then she really can do nothing against this plan. It's only whether white can find it, and of course white can find it because white is the world champion Ju Wenjun, who is trailing by 1 point, but she has all the chances to equalize the match. 4 games to go. This is game number 8, and the players will. The match lasts 12 rounds. If the match is drawn in the official regulation, there will be tie breaks consisting of rapid games followed by blitz games, and then more blitz games, and then more blitz games, and so if we ever reach this stage, there will be a lot of pressure and excitement going on there as well. But of course, we still have this game that needs to be concluded. Looks like white is going to win this game, but things have happened in the past. They can happen again. Ju Wenjun is thinking here.
Actually, we need to mention that Lei Tingjie saves all the games, and she looks like have some losing chances in the whole match. At least I think 2 to 3 times in the first 7 games.
Yes, but it has to be said, none of them was that lost, right? So,
yes.
Again, evaluation-wise, yes, yesterday it was also about -4 in Black Square, but it was a very different -4, right?
Yes.
You can see it here. That's what we were saying yesterday, guys. Yesterday you need to find some very concrete lines to justify that evaluation. Here there are many ways leading to win. As you can see, Ju Wenjun played f3, a move that is different than the computer line, the first computer line, which was rook a7 or something like that, but it is still winning, and the advantage is growing all the time, because the win is quite easy from a human perspective to see. So this is a +3 that a human, or +4 almost, that a human really knows it's a +4.
And for the point of rook, if black play rook d7, I have rook e5 and f4. Actually, it's really is recently on the board. And Lei Tingjie played rook d7 and rook e5
played by the world champion.
Yes, f4 f5 is really
f4 f5 is really inevitable now, and Lei Tingjie, you can see she is not liking her position. She knows this game is lost.
It's lost, yes. So Alik, I want to ask one thing I'm not very sure about. Let's say about the position. If I play bishop c2 and for example, if I can manage to play to a position like this, is it a draw or lost? Because I really don't know this position.
This is a good question. I think it should be lost somehow. What if we just go?
Yes.
If we just go with the rook to g7, we force you to take on g7, and then we take with the pawn, and this is winning, right?
Yes. And if I put my rook on f7, it's not a long idea.
I will not exchange the rooks if this is what you're asking.
Yes.
So then I will go back.
Yes, and go
back. I don't need even to go back. I will defend my bishop and run away.
And king g8 is the only move, I think.
And then I can go back to my main idea. So the main idea being this.
It's easily lost.
I will force you eventually to take on g7. Important not to take with the bishop, of course. And now I go all the way from the other side, making sure you're in Zugzwang and winning the game.
Yes, so I feel really hopeless in this position for black.
Yeah, it does. This is the feeling of hopelessness for black, because you can really not stop this from happening. And then,
but okay, I have seen something like f4 rook d5. Is it possible?
Oh, this is beautiful. f4 rook d5.
The bar said
the bar is still not impressed, but because we can just run away.
Yes, but now I can play my bishop to f5.
But now we establish. We at least establish some defense, and white will need to work harder to break it. But again, the fact that we established this defense does not anyhow help us against against the other plan of rook g7 and bishop e5. Just
you need
to find a way not to blunder anything in the process.
Yes, I think if black cannot manage to put your king on g6, it's still.
But this is but you are right. It shows f4 is played. Ju Wenjun played f4, I think, and we probably will see Lei Tingjie play a rook d5 here. She does play rook d5. It just goes to show you how tenacious a defender she is. You need to take her down many times in the game in order to score this victory. And she is fighting those little chances, and it was not really far from being a draw, right? It just goes to show you, and kudos to you for finding this idea as well. So rook d5, but Ju Wenjun played almost immediately rook e7.
Yes.
So maybe she has seen it in advance. It has to be said, black only has just short of 3 minutes left. Of course, she has additional time of 30 seconds, an increment of 30 seconds after her every move, but still it's a very annoying time to have in this kind of position, right?
Yes. And actually, black cannot really cannot manage to play king f7, king g6, because if you want to play king f7, first you must play rook d7. This is the move you must play. And when, for example, let's say bishop f5, king f2. Okay, I just played.
But wait, but why king f2 is all of a sudden a draw?
Actually, I really don't know why it's a draw.
Rook d4.
Oh, rook d4. Yes.
Oh my God. So you see, it's never too late. And did she play it? Ju Wenjun played rook king f2. Oh my God. Rook d4 draws the game now.
But if I play king e3?
Check.
King e2?
Rook goes back to d4. We just keep hitting the pawn on f4.
Even I play rook.
Unbelievable.
Rook h7 is not, cannot play it because rook e4.
Yes, we have a rook h7. We have a black is even winning.
Yes.
Will she find? No, she misses.
But rook d2, I think it's the same. She played
it?
I think they played rook d2.
She played rook d2 check.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I really don't think they are too much.
Rook d2 is also a draw.
But she needs to find rook d4.
She needs to find. I think she will find it. Unbelievable. Lei Tingjie manages to escape. As it seems that she manages to escape this game.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wow. I'm speechless.
Yes.
It just goes to show you how rich in opportunities the game of chess is. Look at the world champion. She is shocked. I think she is realizing at this very moment that she blundered again a wonderful opportunity. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe my eyes. King
e3.
e3, rook d3 is automatic, of course. There is no other way for Lei Tingjie to play. She doesn't even need to play rook d4 until the king goes back to the first rank.
Yes.
And then she will, I'm pretty sure she sees this rook d4 move. What a amazing defense by Lei Tingjie. This will be if
she
this
can,
is a draw.
Yes.
It will be a horrible, horrible blow for the world champion.
Yes.
What an exciting endgame. Wow, what a drama here at in Chongqing at the World Championship match. Lei Tingjie, she does not give the check. She goes back. She retreats the rook to somewhere back. No, she goes to d6. It's a win. According to the computer, it is again a winning position for White. White needs to run away with the rook from e7 to be able to protect f4 with the bishop on e5. What a roller coaster this game keeps happening.
Like, you know, in this position, I think to play rook a7 is not easy for White, because rook on e7 is really a good square, seems like, but actually Black needs to use the square of rook on e7 to play rook d4. So rook d6,
rook d6
both
is
players,
a move
yes,
that just throws the draw away. A draw which was really well, but it has to be said, you must see rook d4 here. You must see this move, because if you don't have rook d4, you don't have another move. You need to see rook d4. But Lei Tingjie showed already that she knows how to give this rook away when needed. Rook c7. Ju Wenjun played rook c7. Rook c7 is the winning move. Now the same doesn't work anymore. King e2, you don't have king rook d4 anymore, because the rook on e7 is not hanging, and White is again winning. Wow, what a dramatic finish of a game. It seemed like White will calmly steer the ship towards a win, but there was a sequence of 3 moves that Black could have drawn.
I'm really speechless, because rook d4 is really amazing.
Amazing resource by Lei Tingjie. It was missed by both players, this chance.
Yes.
I think by the posture of Ju Wenjun a few moves ago, she saw the rook d4. She kind of she already saw that there is the inevitable draw.
Yes, some emotion on her face, if you can see it later. I think it's something like very shocked and sad.
Absolutely.
In this 1 minute. But now
Lei Tingjie is still hoping that this is a fortress.
This is not over, I think.
She is claiming that she cuts the king along the d file.
Yes.
The bishop is covering all the light squares. White still needs to find a way to break through. I think the way to do that is to move the bishop to e5, as we said, to bring the rook maybe to g7, maybe to bring the rook to f6, to hit this bishop, to move, to force it away from the f5 square, and then we can start pushing the pawn again. Ju Wenjun has 10.5 minutes. It's plenty of time to find the winning plan.
Yes.
Lei Tingjie has less than 2.5 minutes. Both players still have increments. But as we have seen so far in the game, anything can happen, right? Because although the position still looks a little bit dryish, you see those kind of drawing ideas all the time in the air, because we have opposite color bishop endgame, and with opposite color bishops there is always room for drawing ideas. The world champion retracts the bishop back to c3.
Yes, I like this move because, for example, if you play bishop e5, maybe rook d7 is a move because you cannot play rook c5 to capture the bishop and play f5. And now bishop c3, it Minglei stopped you to play rook d7, and I play rook c5. Yes, maybe you have bishop g4, but f5 is unstoppable, I think. For example, bishop g4, I play king e3, and you play rook f7, I can play bishop f6. And now...
So this is a commanding advantage for white. Wow.
And king e8 is on the board. I think, actually, of course, we will say Lei Tingjie doesn't find the rook d4 very impressive drawing move, but still she blocks a wall from d5 rook and the f5 bishop. Your king cannot goes into the game now. So I think still it's not over yet.
It's not over. The game, although the computer again it shows +5 or whatever the number you see on your screens, it still needs to be won. But white can, as long as black doesn't have a forced draw, white can maneuver for many moves until she finds the winning the winning continuation. It looks as if though she is not entirely sure how to win this this endgame yet. Let's try to find a way how white goes on to win the game, right? So
yes.
Let's imagine how, for instance, if black moves the queen, the rook, as you said, there is rook c5. This is quite easy. So how do we not move the rook? So we play a move like a king, bishop e3, for instance. King goes up.
I go back to f5.
We need to find a winning plan. What is the winning plan here?
Actually, I have an idea after king f. For example, you play bishop d3. Here, can I play rook c6?
Rook
it's
c6.
The same idea. Okay, the bar said it's a bad move.
But why is it so? Because we start hitting the rook and we want to go to support our pieces, right? And if you play rook f6, then maybe we have rook f5.
Yes, I have no time to play g6. This is the reason why Lei Tingjie put her king on e8.
Right.
You have no time to play rook c6 and g6. G6 made is if g6 is played on the game, it's winning. But king d7 really smart move.
So how do we win this game? Can we play bishop e5 after all?
Yes, I think.
If you just wait, I want to go here. If you then my next move, once I want to play rook f6. Or actually, this might well be already a threat, right?
Yes, g6 is a big threat. I have to play rook d7, I think. I haven't seen
any other move. I think g6 is just breaking through.
Yes.
So, and you, of course, you cannot play king f7 due to rook f6 check.
This is why, Alik, you put your bishop on e5.
Exactly. We want to cut the rook from the f5 square.
And
the question is, you know, sometimes, and it happens quite a lot, when you're playing a game of chess, you have this kind of aura surrounding the board of both players, and it often happens that both players could be under the same impressions during the game. If you know those energies flying around over the table, if one player is sure that it's a draw, the other may also believe that it's a draw.
Yes.
So they might be kind of stuck in this understanding that maybe this is unbreakable, maybe this is a draw.
Yes.
And and if you believe that this is a draw, you might not even find, you know. So this might explain why Lei Tingjie was not looking for a forced way to make a draw, because she's sure this is holdable.
Yes.
And white is not, and Ju Wenjun does not see a concrete way how she can break through, right? Because she moves the bishop. Maybe she will try to move, to force the king away from the e-file somehow. Maybe there, you know, you could have some blind spots sometimes that both players have. For instance, they don't see this idea of g6, and if you don't see this idea of g6, then the whole position looks completely different to both of them.
Yes.
So
it seems like g6 is the key to win this position.
It might well be the key and the only key to winning this position. So rook f7, did Ju Wenjun just find a way? Because maybe so, maybe not. The rook on f7, it looks very good, very well placed here, right? We want to hit this bishop on f5, then our bishop can always come back to e5, forcing you away. I think I will find it extremely hard to imagine the white doesn't find the winning plan here.
Yes, because she still has an 8.5 minutes.
And again, you don't need to find, as long as you don't blunder anything concrete, you will, by maneuvering, you will eventually stumble upon the winning, I think, the winning continuation as white here. But still, it's never over until it's over.
Yes. Actually, the rook d4 move is really makes me speechless for 2 minutes.
Just to look back at this, king f2, this move 56, after king f2, black had a golden opportunity, giving a few checks as it happened in the game. Give check on d3, rook d4, a key move, hitting this pawn on f4, using the fact that white pieces are, in this very moment, are very unfortunately placed.
Yes.
The bishop cannot take the rook because this is a draw, immediate draw.
Yes.
And the bishop and the pawn cannot be protected in any other way except from the king, and then it would just be a perpetual. What a fantastic, unexpected drawing opportunity for Lei Tingjie, but it was missed. It's in the past already, and now we are really approaching a win by the world champion. But she needs to find a way to break through this tenacious defense by Lei Tingjie. I already screamed today that it is a draw, and it was not a draw. I will not repeat my mistake again. It can be, it is winning objectively. It is winning for white. Sorry, of course, but white needs to find the breakthrough. It looks almost as the only way that she can to break through, right? To keep the rook on the f-file, to play something like rook f6 here.
Yes.
Or maybe first check on f8, which is even more precise, right?
Yes.
And then
bishop c3.
Get the bishop down, you bring it back to e5, to this very strong diagonal. Also, with the bishop on e5, you always have this idea of g6, sacrificing the exchange, followed by h7, h8, promoting the queen. Rook f8 is played by the world champion.
And king d7.
King d7
is also on the board.
The only move. It was played. I think it was played immediately by Lei Tingjie. But you know, looking at Ju, she doesn't. It doesn't strike me that she sees the winning plan.
Yes.
She is too nervous, and you know those minutes are ticking down. You had 15 minutes some time ago. Now you had 10. Now you have less than 7, you cannot steal. You don't see this winning plan yet. You can see she's looking at her clock. You feel it should be something. You don't see it.
Yes.
It's a horrible feeling during a chess game. The time is pressing. I think she found it. She is transferring the bishop to the
E5
to the long diagonal to E5. E5 is the key to break through.
Yes.
To cut the rook from the bishop, and then
Rook F6, G6.
And then Rook F6, G6. Right.
Yes. But still, she needs to find the
She
G6.
needs to find this Rook F6, G6. Indeed, Bishop G6 played by Lei Tingjie, putting a small trap, right?
Yes.
Rook F5 will be a draw if allowed, if Black is allowed to play that.
So
and of course, the king cannot go to the third rank because this is, well, this is not winning for Black. This is still a draw.
Yes.
But of course, this is not a move you make with White. Bishop G6. I like this move because it poses. You know, you set as many traps as you can. Maybe one of them will work, but maybe this move kind of brings White to the idea of sacrificing on G6, right?
Actually,
Rook G8.
this is what I want to mean it, because after Rook G8, you if you play some moves like Bishop F5, I still have chance to play G6
right now.
Yes, and
will be win by force.
Actually, Bishop G6 gives White 2 more moves.
Yes, but you know, if you see the idea, you don't really need this.
Yes, actually, yes.
Rook G8 played,
and now it's
Lei Tingjie played her move. She has less than a minute to play.
Rook D6 is on the
Rook
board.
D6, so she does not allow an immediate sacrifice with G6.
Yes.
Rook D6, still keeping the balance, not allowing anything forced.
Yes. If you want to win, still
you need to win. Go and make sure and prove that you can win this game. How do we break through here? Is Bishop F8, F6 a move? The bar doesn't like this move at all.
I think Bishop
F5, very calmly. What progress have you made? Not clear at all. The computer says Rook G7, go here. Force the king to the 8th rank because King E6 loses to Rook G6 immediately. This is game over. Ju Wenjun played Bishop E5. I like this move.
Yes.
It's kind of asking, where do you want to place your rook?
And actually, Black needs to be careful. For example, if you play Rook E6, maybe Rook F8 up, but Rook F8, I can play King E7. It's not a big question.
Actually, Rook F8, you see, drops immediately because of Rook E8. As we said, a perpetual.
Yes, you need to be careful.
You need to be careful until the very, very last moment. It's unbelievable how tricky this can get.
So,
and I like Rook E6 as a trap.
Yes,
I like it a lot as a trap because it's very easy to forget about such a mechanism, right?
If Lei Tingjie play against me, maybe I finish with Rook F8 with a draw.
This is Lei Tingjie down to her last 20 seconds. She played her move with 18 seconds spared. She gives a check on D2.
I don't think this is a good move.
This is probably a, well, it has to be said. She doesn't have many other better moves. But now, after, for instance, a move like King G3, she is planning. Apparently, there is Bishop E4.
I cannot play G6. It's
a nasty move because G6 is now met by Rook G2 check. And you know, this is how you save those positions. You
Yes.
don't lose, you don't lose, you don't lose. Then your opponent, you hope that your opponent will go wrong at some point, will blunder, will, and we can see in those lines, right? The computer is super confident because it never blunders
Yes,
those things.
of course.
It's well aware of all the pieces, all the tactical possibilities. But as a human, there is an opportunity to go wrong on basically on every step of the way. So
Yes.
King F3, a smart, a clever move by Ju Wenjun, not
stepping on the G file, right?
so now, for instance, a move like Bishop
Bishop F5.
I think
I
is
see.
met by G6,
Yes.
and it is again game over because once we break through with the pawn on G6, it's all over. 16 seconds, 15 seconds left for Lei Tingjie to make her move. She
Rook.
checks on D3,
Yeah,
but
but,
this allows King to go up to G4.
Yes. King F3 is really a smart move.
King F3 is probably the winning move. Rook D3, I think we should expect King G4 to be played.
Of course, this is the why she played the King F3. Otherwise, she just play King E3. It's the same. So King G4, I think it's on the board because I saw the King is higher than the Rook. Yes.
King G4. 30 seconds for Lei
Yes.
to make a move. She is going down with her Rook to D1, I think.
Yes.
Rook G6
Yes.
is a move that should be played, that probably will be played by the world champion. She checks her, she has plenty of time,
Yes.
5.5 minutes. She has all the time in the world to make sure Rook G6 wins, to make sure there are no surprises, there are
Yes.
no stalemates of any kind. She takes on G6 and this
And-
is game over. I think Lei takes on G6, H7, and I think she will resign. Lei Tingjie resigns the game. Ju Wenjun equalizes the match. After 8 games, we have 4 points each. What a game! Drama after drama after drama today. When it all looked absolutely lost for the challenger, she got a golden opportunity to make the draw and
Yes.
she missed it.
If Rook D4 is really on the board, the Ju Wenjun's emotion is Yes.
It would be unbelievable. You can see on your screen the result of game 8. The world champion equalizes the score with an extremely important win. I cannot
Yes.
even begin to describe how important this win is today. The match is back to level score, 4-4.
Yes.
We have 4 games left. Just imagine what would happen had Lei found this queen, Rook D4. What would Ju Wenjun's feeling be like?
I think if Rook D4 is on the board, and of course after Rook D4 it's easily a draw for that level players, and it's really heartbroken for Ju Wenjun because like the position in yesterday, maybe she thought, okay, in the game I feel I should exchange the queen. Maybe with the queen on the board, I have a chance to lose. But this position, I think she will thought I think I put the win in my pocket. I just need to be careful. But a careless move with 15 minutes on the clock to make a king f2, it will be. I think she will not regret herself.
It would be really a disaster outcome for White had Lei Tingjie found this fantastic resource of Rook D4. And you know, but for Lei, I think it's better not to know that there was this Rook D4, because if you know, you think about it, it's very hard to not think about it.
Yes.
I mean, when I missed such opportunities in my games, you can be sure there is a sleepless night ahead of
Yes.
you. You really have. And I was not playing a world championship match, right? Especially in a world championship match, and you know that psychologically, if you hold this game, this is probably match over.
Yes.
Of course, still 4 games to go.
And as we all know, Lei Tingjie is also a very big heart player. I think tomorrow is a rest day, and she will be back with with a stronger Lei Tingjie, just like she is in Shanghai. She was in Shanghai.
You know, she said in the press conferences many times, "I'm not playing for a result. I'm trying to enjoy chess.
Yes.
I'm trying to do my best. If my team tells me that I played well, I'm happy. If
Yes.
not, I try to improve." I really admire this attitude, because having this attitude basically means that there is not no distractions, irrelevant distractions, right? Because
Yes.
all those thoughts that, oh, this is a world championship match, oh, I'm leading, oh, what will happen if I draw, oh, what will, all these are negative thoughts. They
Yes.
distract you from what matters the most, from chess, right? And she has seen many times that she is playing chess. Guys, we will go to the press conference. Thank you so much for being with us. See you on the next day. Tomorrow is a free day. Let's go to the players. There will be a lot of emotions today. And thank you for watching.
Thank you
See
for
soon.
watching. See you.
Welcome to the press conference after round number 8. Today we have a resultative game after an amazing fight. Ju Wenjun wins the game and evens out the score. Congratulations for the win. Ju Wenjun, can you tell me, how do you feel? What are your immediate impressions?
Okay, for today's game, I feel I was putting some pressure, and in the end game, okay, it's very difficult for black to play, and well, I think well, she defend well, but it's too difficult to defend in the end game.
And if you were to tell us, how happy are you from 1 to 10? In the scale from 1 to 10, how happy are you?
How happy I am? I think it's about okay, maybe 8, because well, in general, it's a positive number.
All right. So today we had a similar situation in a way like yesterday, because we had a very intense time trouble. And after time trouble, you have reached the end game, which is better for you. You were pushing. Were you thinking a little bit about yesterday's game? Were you slightly worried that it will be a similar scenario, that you have an advantage, but you will not break through?
Well, I feel it's the end game. At least I have some chance, and I just do what I can, and then well, actually, the results I am satisfied as long as I tried, and then it's fine.
Okay, thank you. And still one more question. There was an option to play d5 in move 19 instead of queen b3. Were you calculating it?
Well, not.
That's a long time ago, right? Like.
yeah, because at that time I didn't check this d5, and if e takes d5,
you can take on f6.
Then bishop f6.
You can take on. There's some checkmate on e8.
Okay.
So black has to
blunder. Okay. Then maybe it's a good move, because it was I didn't see this checkmate thing.
Okay, but it wasn't like much better than what you played, according to the engine at least. But I was just thinking if you were calculating it. Okay, thank you so much. And Lei Tingjie, I realized this must be a difficult moment after a defeat. But yeah, can you tell us how was it from your side, especially if we focus on the end game? How were you evaluating it? The early end game after the time travel?
I think as a position, I think it's holdable for black, but I played quite passive with time trouble, so I didn't play precisely, so I gave the chances to my opponent. And yeah, I mean, as you said, like she can play d5, I mean, probably I deserve to lose.
And in the end game, could you tell us why did you decide to give up the second pawn, the e6 pawn? Did you think this is the only resource to try to activate your rook, or what was your thought process?
I think I spent like 20 minutes to give that pawn because, you know, if I keep that pawn, my pieces were very passive. So, I mean, probably giving the pawn is not a good choice. But in a practical game, I think I have to give that pawn and free my pieces.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think was a decisive mistake? Do you think there was one moment today, or it was just very difficult practically to defend?
No, she already told me I had a chance to play some like rook d4, but okay, I mean, this endgame was quite tough and also it's hard to find, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that was my next question actually to both of you, because apparently, okay, of course it's easy for us, we see the engine, but apparently there was after king f2, rook d4. Have you seen it, for example, after the moment? Did it come to your mind at all, rook d4 resource? After king f2, I think rook is still on e7 for white.
When?
You played king f2.
I play many king f2.
Yeah, rook is still on e7, so white rook is on e7, bishop on f6, and for black king is on f8, so it attacks the rook on e7. So after rook d4, even though white can capture it, the rook on e7 is also hanging.
My pawn is on f2?
It's on f4.
f4.
Already on f4. Yeah, the idea is to attack the pawn. But so I guess you were not thinking about it.
Yeah, okay. Then no.
No, you have not seen it, yeah? Okay, and still one more question, I believe. You both arrived quite late to the venue today. Was there some reason for it? Because you were, both in sync, being later than usually. Was there a reason? Because tension is higher or anything behind it? Lei Tingjie?
I think, I mean, because it's a long match, and I think every game like very important for both of us. So, I mean, every side wanted to try play like, I mean, put more pressure to opponent. So, I mean, for me, I think it's normal.
So, okay, and Ju Wenjun? Was there a reason you arrived later than other days to the venue today?
Okay, I arrived maybe late than other day, but still it's not like that late. It's still like 15 minutes or something before the match. So I guess it's not okay. It should be enough for the tournament.
So no reason. Okay, sorry, actually forgot about one question, so we still wanted to ask because it was asked on the chat by the viewers. After bishop c2, there was a possibility for white to go knight e1 instead of knight d4. Were you thinking about it? Ju Wenjun.
Okay, well, it's I feel maybe bishop d1, and well, I spent some times, but I didn't see anything very concrete, so I decided to play 94. I thought with that I have some chances.
Okay. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again. Have a good rest day. And before that, we go to the Chinese part. Xiaobing, thank you so much.
谢谢安娜。我想可能两位棋手都比较累，但我们还是要给就是中国的观众和记者们稍微要讲一下今天的对局和几个关键的地方。那朱元军先来。
今天这盘棋，我感觉双方都是就是下的还是质量还是挺好的。然后黑棋可能在残局中就是转换进了一个残局，然后黑棋应该是有一些机会就是可以和棋，但是可能有一些压力，然后最后我就很幸运的获胜。
雷霆姐。
我觉得今天这盘棋的话，就可能就像母姐讲的，就势均力敌吧。当然中间的时候，可能双方都就是不是错过了机会，我不是错过，我没错过机会，就白方可能错过了一些机会，但是。准的来讲，这盘棋可能我下的就是，用时可能用的不太好，然后在后面，防守阶段的话，我觉得也会有一些问题吧。当然，白方的确今天下的挺好。
还有一些技术上问题，但是你刚才自己特别提到了今天用时不太好，你也注意到，可能整个比赛以来你第一次时间落后这么多。是不是心理上这两盘棋心理上有一些波动，有一些紧张？
我觉得还好吧，可能棋没有那么简单，因为黑的有很多选择，然后，局面没有想象中的那么简单，可能，在转换残局的时候，我可能犯了一些错误，但是总的来讲，我觉得这个棋，包括。中间的时候我也处理的不是很好，所以可能给了白方反击的机会，所以，对你就会想着那棋你想着简化，但是没有那么没那么好简化，所以可能就陷入了这个时间紧张。但我觉得其实挺正常的吧。
说到中间这个简化的机会，我想请两位棋手谈一下你们对 A4 这步棋当时是一个什么样的判断和认识？雷霆姐，你觉得你自己当时通过 A4弃兵进入简化，进入残局，你觉得怎么样？
我觉得局面应该是没有什么问题，可能包括在后面，我可能可以考虑就下亲子残局，然后不给白方保留车的机会吧，因为在那个局面，我觉得 A4。看起来应该是不错的棋。
朱元军，你觉得呢？当对手走 A4，然后弃一个兵简化进入残局，你觉得他的这个选择怎么样？
我觉得这个选择还是挺好的吧，因为其实，因为简化完之后，黑棋其实是有不错的和棋机会的，然后可能在一些选择中，他可能就是没有很好的。就是去处理吧，我觉得 A4 还是挺好的。
A4 实际上是一部得到很多这个讲解嘉宾一致赞扬的一部招法。对之后的当然之后的残局因为时间紧张可能错进错出。那最后一个技术的问题，想问一下两位棋手对今天这个布局的一个感觉。雷霆姐，你想到朱元军会下这样一个布局吗？
作为白棋，他想尝试把比分打平，可能会选择，而且就是他在上一次对抗赛当中的时候，好像赢过一次个人阿金娜吧。然后，所以对我来说，他不管走什么开局，我觉得走啥我就应对啥吧，不会了那就自己想呗。
那这个出乎你的意料吗？
我觉得不算出乎意料吧。开局的时候，好像白的准备的也一般吧。
那朱元军今天选择这个不常采用的布局的这个策略是什么？
我感觉就是，去尝试一些，就是比较怎么说呢，一些可能有点意思的布局吧，就是可能更多的去考验对手。
好，那最后一个问题，明天休息天准备怎么过？
睡大觉。
君君。
我应该也是主要以休息为主。
好，大家还有什么问题吗？君君，你先回答吧。
我觉得比赛既然已经到了这个阶段了，我觉得就是怎么说呢去下好剩下的对局吧，就是尽自己全力就好了。
李婷姐，
我觉得我跟母姐一样。
好，还有其他问题吗？好，那今天的新闻发布会就到这里。